was not expecting literally any of that, and yet that was one of the most glorious things I've ever seen. Welcome to a Friday and or Thursday, depending on where you live, edition of the Unwind. We weren't expecting to do this today because I don't know if you guys know anything about investor meetings and calls. They're not normally super informational in the way that this was today. And yet today it was like Disney dropped a nuke on all of us, and I was not anticipating it. And we decided we should probably, actually talk about it. So welcome to the PJ Campbell Network. I am your host, PJ Campbell. We have so much to talk about with all of this because, let's face it, none of us were expecting any of this. Real fast, just going through some stuff. If you guys haven't already, we do have a Patreon. If you join the Patreon, we got some cool stuff, including early access to pre-recorded content at that $10 level, exclusive commentary tracks. That's right, we do commentary tracks. And this month, we are going to be doing a commentary of Shane Black's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which I'm super excited about. If you have not heard, also, the patrons voted on us doing watch-alongs, and we're doing two because you guys voted on it. One is the Star Wars Holiday Special double feature. That's right, we're watching that Star Wars Holiday Special from the 70s, followed by the Lego one, because the Lego one is at least very fun and joyous, and I can't wait to watch it. And then we are also going to be doing a double feature of the Christmas Chronicles films starring Kurt Russell, because who doesn't want a sexy Kurt Russell Santa Claus as part of their Christmas tradition? I know I do. He plays the saxophone. He's awesome. There's just nothing not to love about it. We also have coming up next week, we are going to be doing the holiday add it to the playlist suddenly soundtracks. Chris Clark is making us choose our 10 favorite Christmas songs, and for that I will never forgive him. It was a pain in the ass and destroyed my psyche. And then on the 17th, we are bringing you Front Center Mezzanine with Mark Andraco, who you guys I'm sure know from the Movie Trivia Schmodown. I hear he has a match this weekend that might be important. I don't know. And of course, we're bringing back Preston Max Allen, who's become a channel favorite. Oh, hi, Sean. I just don't understand, Sean. Why?
Patrick, because we have like 300 things to talk about. We don't have time. It's midnight.
Yeah, but you just upset Dipper with the sound. He was barking. You couldn't hear him because it was so fucking loud. Hear the
sound?
Because my headphones
You have headphones in. Okay,
yeah,
well, but look, we have shit to do. Patrick.
All right, fine. Then you bring in the rest of them because you're trying to take over.
Well, I will take over. I was going to let Maxwell do this, but he had some internet issues, it looks like. I'm sure he'll be back.
Yep, I hope so.
Dan Nye, the most handsome man.
Hi, handsome Dan.
That I know.
Hi, I'm here.
You're here. You want to talk about the Mighty Ducks.
Of course I want to talk about the Mighty Ducks. Like, is that
even
a question?
Great. Robert Adams. My favorite of the Addams twins.
Don't say that. You realize that Chris is in the chat.
Except when Chris is here, in which case Chris is my favorite of the Addams twins.
It's all about eyesight. Whoever he's seeing.
The hell?
it's whoever I could see. Okay? Robert, you want to talk about Loki?
Sister Act.
Great. Wonderful. Jacob Berlin.
I don't know anything about Star Wars. Let's do Sister Act.
Hi,
Jake Berlin. Another very handsome man. I think you want to talk about the Up animated series.
100%.
That's the only thing you want to talk about.
I'm here.
Great. Wonderful.
All right. Someone ban Kale from the goddamn chat. This guy. What's the Mighty Ducks? Are you
I don't know.
me?
I've never seen it.
Okay. Well, we're done with that. Yeah, hi, guys. It's really good to see you guys tonight.
I'm going to Clockwork Orange him, and he's going to see that movie.
All three of them, goddammit. We don't sleep on the Mighty Ducks in this channel.
You respect the name Bombay here. Okay.
Yeah.
We have assembled the greatest team.
Quack.
We have assembled the greatest team of 5 or 6 white dudes to talk about this.
So
superhero pose by Robert is just on point.
if people came here expecting a show on the rails, let's apologize now. Don't expect this to get any better.
No, we're going to talk about literally almost everything that happened because there was so much news that came out today that there's absolutely no way that we hit it all. And I just know that there's a lot of people who also want to watch Mandalorian. So we're going to give ourselves a 3-hour window. And I'm sure 3 hours is more than enough time.
If anyone's familiar with Redline, this stream is brought to you by Redline because I need to stay awake.
Yeah, I was drinking earlier. I had a Monster energy drink. Monster also sponsors us. They don't actually. But guys, welcome to the PJ Campbell Network. I'm really glad to have you.
Sean? Do you love me now?
I do. Oh, hey, look. This is my favorite Adams twin.
It was amazing.
Fucking came out of nowhere.
That dude is a fucking ninja, number one. So I'm sure you all saw that today Disney decided to drop a nuclear bomb on the entertainment industry during their investors call. Investor calls are not normally ones full of lots of information and movie trailers and announcements that none of us were expecting. And yet Disney was like, after the HBO Max fiasco that we have seen play out over the last several days, Disney decided, well, we're going to use this as an opportunity to make everyone love us even more than they already do as the consumer conglomerate of the world. And we were given so much information that I don't know where to begin.
First off, I want to say just a quick analogy. It's like you're at a poker table and Warner Brothers and HBO Max is like, here, we're going to bid $1 million. And Disney's like, oh, yeah, all in.
That's 100% basically what happened. That is quite the background there. Holy shit. So where should we start with this? Where do you guys want to start? Because
let's start from the top. The top. Everyone in the call has the webpage except for Jake Berlin because Jake Berlin was late.
I have it.
He is one of the most scheduled and prompt people I know, and he was late.
I believe I'm on the page right now, Mr. Sullivan.
I know. I'm just playing up this character, whatever it is. So like Bob J. Peck
telling me to calm down now. What the hell is happening?
We have no chill here. Let's talk. Let's start from the top.
I've seen this background. Zero chill.
Let's start from the top. Star.
All right. So
what the fuck is Star
Wars? Star Wars?
No, not Star Wars yet. Robert, that's later. Don't worry. We're gonna get there.
So I got time to study on what Star Wars is before we get to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
I would actually recommend the Star Wars Explained videos by Alex and Molly Damon if you need that. They're very
nice people.
Who's that?
Two big nerds.
Alex is crunching out.
Am I a heel? Chris Adams, am I a heel?
I think you're more of a ball, like the ball of the foot.
Okay.
Brandy says this is the unwind. I need you to all unwind a bit. I don't know.
If this shouldn't be the unwind. This should be the Thursday night wound up.
The wound up. The
Are you
wind up.
drinking milk, Pat? No, you're drinking eggnog.
I am drinking eggnog.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought it was milk.
No,
I also put, for everyone in the chat, I did put the link so they can follow along from d23.com if they want. It is in the chat. So keep an eye on that. Sorry, Brandy. I know you would have got to it eventually.
So let's go ahead and get into it. Star is an international service for anyone who doesn't have Disney Plus across the world because Disney Plus is currently still kind of a only USA, like North America's thing. And because of how our deals are with Hulu and Disney Plus, Star is essentially their version of bundling everything that Hulu and Disney Plus is together in one very convenient, sexy-looking service. It was very, very cool. It's got lots of sports. It's got all of the Fox catalog. It was weird seeing, like, the Avengers movies and Disney animated stuff next to Die Hard and Alien. But, dude, it was also like, I kind of wish we had that here. But we don't need it because with the if you have Hulu and Disney Plus, you're getting both those things. But for everyone overseas, this was a perfect way to announce that, hey, we're coming in hot, we're coming in strong. Did anyone else kind of watch these videos, look at all, see how it came together? Because I was very impressed with Star, enough that I kind of wish we had it here, even though we don't really need it here.
I mean, don't we just have a conglomerate of Star
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it anything different than what they're doing basically with Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus? Is it basically those three under one big banner?
From what I understand, it's essentially the Hulu version overseas.
Yes.
What they're aiming to do. So our Star is going to be Hulu, essentially is what they're doing.
Right.
Okay.
And
we have Disney. So Star is Hulu plus Disney Plus with
and ESPN.
But and the key here though, the only difference is that we have to pay the fee for Hulu. Star is going to be an added tile on the Disney Plus home screen. So it essentially comes with the fee that's already been added on there.
For international.
For international only. Okay.
Yes.
I see someone's asking in the chat if we could access this by a VPN. That's what you were saying, that like everything that Star's providing.
Oh, it's certainly worth a shot. I know. I did learn from some of our Australian friends that HBO Max specifically. I don't know if this is true. Someone can correct me if they're a foreign viewer. HBO Max specifically, you have to use an American credit card or debit card to sign up for HBO Max. So if you do it with a foreign card, it won't work. So I would assume it might be the same for us. Maybe there's a way around it. But a VPN, yeah, hypothetically, like internet-wise, I might know a few things about the internet. Internet-wise, I've heard that about me too. Internet-wise, the way that works, yes, it should work. But the question is whether or not the sign-up process would be proper. Now, if you can get so Jacob in the chat saying that Hulu does require an American credit card. So yeah, it. Oh, hey, Solid Slate's here.
Hey, what's up, Solid Slate?
Hi, Marcus.
But that's what PJ was saying, is the stuff that Star provides is essentially what's on Disney Plus and Hulu in America anyways.
Yep.
So we really don't
necessarily a need to do that.
No, there'll probably be a few exceptions. Like I'm sure they'll get some movies that like the streaming rights are in a weird place here, but for the most part, we don't need it.
That's literally what I've heard about, like the attractiveness of getting a VPN is because all the libraries are so crazy.
But that's true of something like Netflix that is available in other countries, but what is available, like what programs are available changes. So for example, for a long time, Doctor Who wasn't available on American Netflix, but it was available on, say, I don't know, Australian Netflix or British Netflix.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of that's changed now because Warner Brothers got the rights and stuff like that.
Perfect.
Big
we do have a ghost.
Chris Clark.
I was going to say we do have an engineer tonight. Chris Clark is behind the scenes right now.
To Canada Rocks in the chat too. It will be available in Canada. Star will be a Canadian thing too, so you will be able to get that.
It's on, and honestly, just looking at the price point where they're saying it's €9 a year or 9 per month or 90 per year, it's a better deal than Hulu, Disney Plus.
It sounds like such an incredible deal. It sounds so good.
Because I got the bundle when Disney Plus first dropped, so it's all three of those services for like $12 or $13. So weigh it with whatever you want.
Is the name too close to Stars, as in the channel? Like, yeah, go ahead, Stars. You call your lawyers, and Disney will call theirs. Let's see how this hashes out. Right. Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say about Star when we have so much else that we can gush about. And
I mean, it's a great addition for international markets. It really is.
It kind of came up. It kind of came up in discussions around the HBO Max and around the Warner Brothers deal. Kind of came up in discussions. There was like, well, yeah, it's great for us, but for other countries, they don't have access to that. And while some countries have theaters open, not every country has theaters open. And if they don't have HBO Max, they have no way to watch those movies.
Yep.
Okay, so
to talk about Star real quick. Someone who said there was massive differences.
Hey. Yeah, we need that air horn noise.
Wait, Dwayne, we were very specific that this was 6 generic white people talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, we had to throw off the ratio.
It doesn't work. You can't rub it off. But Dwayne, welcome, Dwayne.
There you go. Hey, I really need that winning lottery ticket right about now.
So there
No?
are some very distinct differences between the Star ESPN Plus, or the Star Hotstar Star Plus Disney bundles versus the Hulu Disney Plus ESPN Plus bundles, and the big difference is live television and
Oh, yeah.
how you can get live television and what live television you can get in each of those local markets. Because a lot of the things that you're going to be able to get on Star, you are not going to be able to get natively in the United States, because the rights to those things belong to other companies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the big differences in Latin America, soccer. All of the soccer rights in the United States, except for one league, which is the one that Disney got, belong to someone else.
Who'd they get?
They got the Bundesliga.
Well, if you're gonna get one, at least it's not a terrible one.
Yeah. But I mean, in Latin America, they got almost every Latin American soccer league
That's
in
so
almost
weird
every
because
country.
it's not like Fox or ESPN or Disney is even doing a lot with soccer rights. I think doesn't CBS have the EPL?
NBC
Is it-
has the EPL, CBS has Champions League.
That's what it was. Okay.
But
I know the rest of you are really
But-
thrilled by me and Dwayne talking soccer, so thank you for humoring us.
But La Liga, which is probably the second biggest market in the world, this is their last year with BN Sports, and it doesn't look like they want to keep BN Sports. So Disney could make a play for La Liga and have the two of the biggest three soccer leagues in the world are now on Disney streaming services.
And just
Yeah.
play that movie, The Big Green, over and over and over and over again.
In-
Green Street Hooligans in this chat.
In a year, in a
I was trying
year
to keep
or
it
two,
Disney.
I think it's in a year, or I think it's in 2 years, maybe 3. NFL broadcast rights are back up for negotiation. The
Yeah,
the
gonna be
only
interesting.
major network that does not have the Super Bowl or is not in the Super Bowl rotation right now is ABC. And the reason for that is because they wanted to move Monday Night Football, or they moved Monday Night Football, and when they did, the NFL was very upset that it was no longer on broadcast television. So they pulled their rights to the Super Bowl.
Well, I remember when a lot of these mergers first started to happen, especially the Fox Disney one, one thing that did come up Sportsverse was the fact that ESPN now owns Fox, and anyone who's ever tried to watch their own team regionally, it's almost always a Fox Sports something, like a Fox Sports Ohio or a Fox Sports like Indiana. It's one of those things. So like, I know they had to sell a lot of networks, so they didn't have a monopoly on strictly sports broadcasting. So it's an interesting layer we don't really talk about a lot on this channel, but I find like kind of interesting. Yes, it's sports ball. I know you guys came here for sports ball.
I think that's the major difference between what we've got here and what they're doing elsewhere, is because everywhere else they're targeting local sports. I think one of the biggest thing that nobody is paying attention to is the fact that they secured cricket in India.
Wow,
That is major.
that's big.
That's
Like
Yeah, they
securing
made-
football.
they made it-
major.
They made it a point that their Indian launch was like huge. The India
Well,
launch was going to
so-
be.
I ironically know a little bit about the India launch. It's our Hotstar is Star,
Yes.
because Hotstar is already out there and available to
Yeah.
the public.
Yeah, it was
Um,
already it was a streaming service previous to, similar to the way they acquired Hulu.
Okay,
They acquired
because
Hotstar with the Fox merger.
because I have in my line of work, I have encountered some customers who have Hotstar here in America. And it's Indian live television. It's great. It's I had a customer the other day tell me, "Look, this is the only thing I watch for TV."
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
and I
That's
mean,
awesome. That's crazy.
With the amount of content, or I don't really want to use that word, but
Content.
with the amount of properties that are released in India every year, like we're talking 3 times what gets released here in the United States.
Yep.
We could be looking at a lot of that stuff coming over to the United States.
Yeah. Also, before we move on, Dwayne, if you could get like either a hair closer to the mic or a notch or two higher on your mic, I would really appreciate it, because I love everything you're saying, but it's just skosh quiet.
Yeah.
Well, Maxwell, real quick, we
Welcome.
just want to say I'm glad that you're here.
There we go.
This is,
How's
you
that?
know, you're having computer issues. I'm glad to see you. What were your thoughts on this before we hop into the next subject? Did you have any thoughts on Star?
Did he freeze again?
No, he's there.
He's just being,
A cheeky fucker.
yes.
I'm still dealing with the emotional turmoil of my computer crashing as I hit play on my new credits.
They were
Oh,
glorious.
we very
like,
much enjoyed the new
I was-
credits. They're
I
fucking
was dying.
hilarious.
Thank
They were
you.
amazing. The urgent part,
Um,
especially, was
Good.
fantastic.
Well, I know it's been a major complaint from a lot of my international friends and people I interact with that Hulu is not available in other places, and this is essentially Hulu under a different name, with some additional options. But I felt it was a long time coming that they're going to do something like this. I didn't know if they would use the Hulu name or slap another name on it. They've slapped another name on it. And I think it's great. And in terms of sports accessibility, the more football, the better. And by football, I mean soccer. Because football is a great sport and American football is meh.
I do want to point out Tim Sim's comment in the chat real quick. Yes, their addition of SEC Network and all of college sports for the SEC is effing huge.
Yep.
That is massive.
That also is because that has been something that's been exclusive to CBS
For years.
for
as long as I can remember,
Yeah.
college football for the SEC has been on CBS every Saturday morning. The fact that it's going to be on ESPN Network now is crazy.
for at least the
Now,
past
it
10
won't-
years.
As far as like actual cable broadcast and satellite broadcast, it'll still broadcast on CBS,
No.
but it will. Oh no, okay.
So when
No, no, no.
2024 comes,
So this doesn't just affect streaming. This affects all broadcasts.
So,
media.
so they
Nice.
said starting in
Okay, great.
2024, SEC sports, so mainly football, will air on ABC and ESPN, which before it was on CBS, and then the SEC network. Now it's going to be solely on Disney properties everywhere. And it's the biggest. It is the biggest college conference
Mhm.
in the country. Period.
Yes.
I only pretend to not like sports ball.
We saw through it. We knew, Sean.
All right, well we gotta bust through this. So in addition, it looks like Disney Television is releasing. We have 2 high-profile entertainment series in development, and then they list 3 entertainment series. So which one
well,
isn't
one's not
high-profile?
One's not beloved, John. That's
So
what the difference
here's
is.
what it is. The first one is the Beauty and the Beast prequel. That it's just currently still going by Beauty and the Beast. It's all about Gaston. Luke Evans is returning to reprise his role from the live action one with Josh Gad. And Alan Menken is doing the music. It has already begun filming, from what I understand, and I believe they probably showed footage to the investors that we didn't see. Outside of that, there's also a new reimagining of the Swiss Family Robinsons, which is being directed by John M. Chu, who is already working with Disney on Lucasfilm's new adaptation sequel to Willow, as well as Ron Moore. But additionally, on top of this, was the official announcement that Percy Jackson is going to come to Disney Plus. This is one that Maxwell and myself and Jake, I can tell, have been super excited about. I've been clamoring, and Dwayne too. Yes. So there's a couple of us here who are Half-Bloods. Clearly, we're big fans of the Camp Half-Blood clan.
I'm currently reading The Tower of Nero.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Maybe can I make a one of, you know how sometimes I make requests on the air that I should talk to you guys privately when we're not on air.
Yes.
Maybe after we do Dresden Files, we could do Percy Jackson, because that's
I
a
would
series
love
I'd
to.
like read.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
So
Absolutely.
I want to say one thing about the Gaston show,
Sean.
and that's that Luke Evans can crush me with his thighs. So I'm very excited for it.
We now have that
Sean,
on record.
I want to talk to you
It's-
real
okay.
quick about Percy Jackson. And in
And I
order
know
to
my
forward
wife is
first, we must
watching.
go
Hey,
back.
babe. Yep. See, here she is.
Well, before you get too far away, because I saw more hate about Beauty and the Beast. I did not like that live action. Not at all. If there was one good thing to come out of
it today, Dan. We're all about
wait. I'm not done. I'm turning it. Let me get to the wind up part. If there was one good thing that was about it, it was Gaston and LeFou. So the fact that that's what they're taking away from it, that makes me really excited because they were hands down the best part of that movie.
I don't agree with this take. John M. Chu is much more than just shallow. Crazy Rich Asians was fantastic. I thought that was one of the best movies that came out that year. It was anything but shallow.
Also,
that's just my opinion, of course.
Hold on.
Step Up 3D is
also I know
fantastic.
that it's Disney, but there's a reason why they're giving him multiple properties to do.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
I want to say real quick, Crazy Rich Asians specifically. If the second the water doesn't start flowing on that floor, the water doesn't start flowing on your face,
Yes.
you are not a real human being.
100%.
Okay, and I'm not a real human being because my big concern at that scene was, what about her dress?
Or who's going to clean it?
Yeah.
Anyway, you had a question about the Percy Jackson, Dwayne.
No, I was playing with Sean. I was gonna say before we go forward, we must first go back.
Is that a Percy Jackson quote?
No, it's not. It's just what you always say before you start your points about the
I
Mandalorian.
always do. I was wondering if I was
Which we will get to that. We will get to that.
We will definitely get there.
I don't think the point of it is to redeem him. That's the
He's-
thing.
that's
It's
why his
literally going to be a
character was
show. Yeah, this is literally going to be a show about him not being a redeemable character, and I kind of love that. Like Disney actually doing a show about a character and not redeeming that character is actually kind of brilliant.
Like Gaston is like Captain Hammer, and I very much just kind of made that connection right now, and I really, really like it because it's like it makes sense.
I will say the one thing that I'm still on the fence a little bit about the show. I don't necessarily want to see LeFou go back into the closet.
That
I agree with that. 100%. But as a counterpoint, unrelated, any opportunity to hear new songs by Alan Menken is a joy.
Yes. Well,
So-
I think there's a way to have. I think there's a way to have a character because it is a prequel. There is a way to build upon that without diminishing what happens in that movie, right? Maybe?
No, 100%.
I will have a skeptical eye because I agree having him
Yeah.
back in the closet would be problematic, and I don't want to belabor the point, but Love Victor was originally intended for Disney Plus, and they ended up moving it to Hulu, and I watched it and enjoyed it. And to me, other than some queer content, there was nothing in it that was any racier or as racy as either High School Musical, the musical, the series, or The Mandalorian. So I'm unclear why they made that decision. So I hope that because it's Disney Plus, they don't actively make LeFou back in the closet. He doesn't have to be like fucking dudes on screen, although that'd be great. But they also shouldn't put some bullshit thing about him dating a woman or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
All right.
Moving on.
Let's move into this though, because those ones we didn't get a lot of information about, right? Beauty and the Beast, we knew it was being worked on. Swiss Family Robinsons was a new announcement. They've done a couple adaptations over time. Percy Jackson was the one that, again, we all knew they were working on. It was good to get a confirmation, a logo. This is happening. We know that the first script has been turned in. The casting is going to be really important. I would have loved to see if we had gotten a casting announcement today. Unfortunately, we didn't. That's when it turns on to the stuff that we started to actually learn a little bit more about. And of the first one, and I couldn't believe we got a trailer for it. And I know that there's a couple of people on here who are about to be very, very excited when I say quack, 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 quack.
Sean, where'd you go?
Sean, who's never seen the fucking Mighty Ducks in his life.
I've seen the Mighty Ducks. I just don't care.
How do you not care about
Listen,
Timing was so good.
Gordon Bombay is the greatest fictional coach in the history of motion pictures. So you will shut up about your not caring about the Mighty Ducks. Right the hell now.
That's a good conversation.
I'm not saying
I
I
don't
don't
know.
like it.
Gene
I'm just
Hackman
saying
and the
I don't
replacements
have-
are good.
I don't feel strongly one way or the other.
I don't know.
Heart. Gotta have heart.
I still think the best speech by a fictional coach is Al Pacino in Any Given Sunday.
That's a great
Yeah,
speech too.
Fair.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
say the best speech.
True. That is true. But
Anyway.
I also, I
Quack, quack,
also,
quack, Mr. Duckworth.
I also really liked the Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi attitude that Gordon Bombay
Yes.
had.
Yes. So
I
Maxwell,
loved it.
did you get to see the trailer? Did they
didn't.
release the trailer? Okay, so the trailer
must
was
have.
great. Dwayne is 100% right, because the brilliance of this is that the trailer is that Lauren Graham has a son who's trying to play hockey, and he's kicked off the team. The coach says he doesn't have what it takes.
He's kicked off the Ducks.
Yeah, he's kicked off the Ducks. So the Ducks have turned evil.
The Ducks have turned into the Hawks.
It's the best. It is
It's the
such a good
best.
storyline.
And so Lauren Graham says, we're going to start our own team. And they go to this fucking beat up looking hockey rink and find an old ass Emilio Estevez who's like, what are you doing here? Like, get out of here. Skates are in the front if you're trying to rent them, which was a great line, by the way. And we find out that, you know, he's not the Gordon Bombay maybe we necessarily knew, but he's the
Turned into
Gordon
Hans.
Bombay that we're going to need. And now he's taking this new ragtag group of kids and turning them into the equivalent of the best hockey players in the entire world as children. This trailer gave me Cobra Kai vibes. This trailer gave me like the original Mighty Ducks vibes. This trailer made me feel shit I hadn't felt since I was a kid. Like, the tone was perfect. Lauren Graham looked excellent. And it looks like this is the right continuation of this series. I'm going to go to Dwayne first. What were your thoughts?
I mean, I gave him. I'm all
right.
for old
Cool.
grizzly Emilio Estevez, basically replacing Hans, and it's becoming,
But just
not as
grumpier.
nice.
Just grumpy.
Yeah, just not as nice and, you know, wholesome and hearty.
I like that the lead kid in this is that one kid from
Good Boys.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like at first I didn't quite recognize him. I was like, I've seen him somewhere, and I looked it up, and that's
Yes, Mike.
that's what I was like. I like that movie has gotten like a lot of good word of mouth, and it's nice seeing like this kid put into basically, what was it, the Charlie role from the original Mighty Ducks. Because I guess like Lauren Graham is his mom, and it looks like they might be leading to like some kind of a fling between Lauren Graham's character and Gordon Bombay. So kind of like where they're going with that. Very reminiscent of the original
Could
movie.
we get a Joshua Jackson cameo?
Yeah,
I
is there
think
any
so.
chance we
100%.
Better be a Charlie Conway.
I feel like Keenan and Joshua Jackson both come back.
There better be a Charlie Conway.
Yeah,
No.
I was gonna say if Josh Jackson doesn't appear, and I feel strongly that he will, it'll be a disappointment. I don't really care that much about any of the other kids, although I love it. Like, I would love to see Fulton back. You know, there's other kids
Fulton,
that would be fun to have back.
I
But-
don't think that they could get have
Well,
the guy who played Goldberg on
you wanna know-
Disney.
No, they cannot have
Look
him.
him up on Wikipedia.
I don't think he can be on Disney Plus.
I agree with that. But
Hey, Max,
you
though,
know,
you know Eldon Hansen.
Yeah,
the actor who
Daredevil.
plays Fulton.
yeah, he still acts. So having
He was
him
on Daredevil.
fantastic.
But give me,
And
give
the
me
guy
the
who
Bash
plays,
Brothers.
yeah,
Yes.
the guy who
Yes.
plays Portman also still acts. So,
Does he?
but here, yeah.
The last thing I saw him in was Rent. He was in the Rent movie.
Well, he's married to Adina Menzel.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
There's
Cool.
your Disney connection.
But
So
I was going
I'll
to say,
say
he was
this,
probably, he was probably an adult when they filmed this. What would you say?
The first two Mighty Ducks movies, and to a lesser extent the third, mean a great deal to me. I've seen them probably as much as I've seen any other movie. They are some of my ultimate comfort movies. I saw them all in theaters. They inspired my love of hockey, which is probably my favorite sport, tied with baseball. So the notion that it's coming back, that Emilio is back, because my biggest problem with the third movie is that he's not in it enough. So it's just really thrilling, and I think the comparisons to Cobra Kai are really apt, and I think there is a lot of potential for it to be special. And I hope it inspires a whole new generation of Mighty Ducks fans. My nephews are both excellent hockey players. Like, they're on a path to being pro players, maybe not NHL, but pro players. And the day they finally sat down and watched these movies was one of my happiest days. So I'm really excited about this. You know, I think this is a great well of old content to go back to. It feels like a great choice. So I'm real excited.
Just as long as they include a cameo by the 90s cartoon Mighty Ducks.
Ooh,
I hope that one of
nice.
them's watching it. Like, that would be
I-
a cameo.
Yeah,
I
that would be awesome.
I
Look,
love
they have
Mighty
it.
Ducks.
They have it available on demand in the room. It's free. Why not watch it? Order room
I lo-
service to
I-
watch the Ducks.
I love the Mighty Ducks. I love Miracle, but the best winter sport movie is Cool Runnings. Come on, people.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool Runnings.
Look.
Yes.
John Candy is a treasure.
Yes.
Cool Runnings is fantastic. I agree. I
Hey,
love that
Santa,
movie too.
Come on, you
Talk
can
about
pee
heart.
now. Oh,
Feel the rhythm, feel the
too
rhyme. Let's
late.
get ready. It's bobsled time. Cool
I love
Runnings.
that movie.
Great stuff.
Kiss my lucky egg.
And I don't want to spoil it
kiss
if you
me.
haven't seen it, but one of the great things about Cool Runnings is the ending.
Oh yeah,
It's, obviously it's based on a true story, but the way that it's handled and how it subverts what you expect from a sports movie is really poignant and beautiful.
Well, and
especially
the funny
a Disney
thing,
sports movie.
the funny thing to me too about this, and I want to move on after this just because we got so much shit to get through. But the funny thing about the Cool Runnings is it takes
All of a
place
sudden
the
it's
same
4 a.m.
year.
and we're still talking about the Mighty Ducks.
Dude, I've already talked about this for 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So the funny thing to me about the not the Mighty Ducks, Cool Runnings is that it takes place the same year that the Eddie the Eagle situation is happening.
That'd be a great. Okay,
yes,
PJ, we're
and-
doing Cool Runnings, Eddie the Eagle double feature watch
Because,
along.
so if you go back and watch Eddie the Eagle, we'll definitely do a watch along, but they reference the Jamaican bobsled team in the movie. So it's
There
funny.
is nothing about me that is in the closet, honey. I'm sorry.
All right.
It's and that's only because all his clothes are currently packed.
That's also very true. Don't you love my bare walls with all of the nails and
Max,
tape
blink
from where my
twice if
clothes
you
are?
need help.
Max, do you like your name?
I do.
Yeah. So with that, the next one that they announced, we kind of knew this was coming. Turner and Hooch. I don't know if anyone has any strong feelings either way. I don't care. I think this
feeling I have is that I think Josh Peck has actually turned into a really fine young actor. I don't know if you've seen The Whackness. I think he showed more deftness with dramatic material than I expected. So I think it's out of the box choice, and he might be a good lead. Beyond that, I have no real opinions.
Yeah,
Just for my confirmation, Josh Peck is Drake and Josh. Josh Peck.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that Turner and Hooch, of all the things that you're turning into a TV show, is like the oddest choice considering the story of Turner and Hooch. I just don't see how you continue that out, but that's okay. Then it was Big Shot. This one looked very good. This was a David E. Kelly sports high school film or show that stars John Stamos, Yvette Nicole Brown, and Jaslyn Gilsig. I don't know if I said that correctly. I hope I did.
Jesselyn.
Jesselyn.
Yeah.
Okay.
she's
But
pretty
this
good.
this trailer was great. I like a good sports film or TV show, kind of like we were talking about. Obviously, big Mighty Ducks fan, but I got some strong Coach Carter style vibes from this. It looked kind of cool, and I was all in. Any thoughts on this one?
I like the idea that just by watching that trailer, my first thought watching that was like, that this is possibly going to open up like a lot more people to watching like the WNBA. Because
Totally.
For those who know sports, there's generally over the past couple of decades, the WNBA was kind of like a joking point. It was a laughing stock that a lot of people made fun of, like the women's basketball league. But now you've got something like this that looks like it's like a full supportive show, and I think that's really going to help like erase that joking nature of the WNBA and lend some good credibility that like people will want to get invested into it.
I
think it's a great idea.
I had no
And
idea.
I like John Stamos a lot.
Yeah, and I had no idea the show was coming. Like I had no idea about it. And I love a good sports movie. I love a good basketball movie, or a good basketball show, I should say. It's funny because the first thing I thought of, and this is totally just the kid in me, but I thought of the Disney Channel movie Double Teamed.
Hell yeah!
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was the first thing that popped in my head. I go, an actual legit version of Double Teamed. I'm in for it with John Cena.
Also, for me, it's hard not to think of basketball on TV without thinking a little bit of One Tree Hill.
Yeah,
for better or worse.
You'll be happy. I'm watching that with my wife right now.
So I thought
I cannot wait for you to get to the dog in the hospital scene, also known as one of the greatest moments in the history of television.
I know I've seen that scene by itself.
But when you have the years of context preceding it, it has a whole other level of impact.
Yeah, so I
Oh, we got a donation.
Oh, we got a Streamlabs donation.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Ricardo Franco.
I'm glad that I have those set to my OBS because I keep
Did it
forgetting
say quack?
to
Is
turn them
it
off.
say quack, 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 quack? Is that the message?
donation was
I can
quack,
tell you.
quack, quack, quack.
Ricardo.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Thank you, Ricardo.
So I actually had two immediate thoughts when I started watching this trailer. First, I thought that this was going to be a show about Bobby Knight when it first started.
Sure.
That kind of went in a different direction, didn't it?
Well, when he picked up the chair and threw it, I was like, "Oh, are they making a show about Bobby Knight?" I was like, "That's a weird choice."
On the Disney Plus.
But second, I was like, "Oh, okay, so we're getting Mighty Ducks with basketball." I was like, "That's literally what we're getting is Mighty Ducks with basketball," and I was like, "This is dope. I'm here for it."
I think it's a great. I didn't see the trailer, but even just looking at the cast and John Stamos being like, how many years of staying power has he had? And because I'm such a community stan, you know that Nicole Brown is never going to do a wrong thing in my book, and she seems to be one of the sweetest people imaginable. So, like, clearly, I'm here for this too.
I was working while most of these announcement came, so I saw the Marvel and the Star Wars stuff. But anything with Kennedy High School alumni John Stamos, I'm in.
John Stamos, we all will.
Also, if this does well, and I mean, I might be reaching and hoping and wishing a little hard here, but if this does well, maybe we could get a season 2 of Pitch. Like,
That would
Oh
be
hell yeah,
awesome.
Pitch is
Yeah.
great.
like
That
And
was
Disney
I
owns
mean-
Disney owns it now.
yeah, they own it now, so it's I
Speaking
would
of staying
love to get
moist,
that back.
Mark Paul Gosselaar with his like thick muscles and big beard in Pitch. Ooh, baby,
Mm-hmm.
that's some good
guys,
stuff right there.
Brandy put that Streamlabs link in. If you want to send any donations, get your thoughts out here. Toss them towards that Streamlabs. It helps us keep the lights on, and we appreciate the contributions. So thank you. After we get through Big Shot, we had the Mysterious Benedict Society, which I didn't know anything about. Apparently, it's based on a book series.
I have read these books actually.
Okay.
They are utterly delightful, and it has a lot of potential to be a really fun series. I think it's perfect for a TV show as opposed to movies. So yeah,
And that's what I was. I was gonna say. As knowing nothing, this trailer was charming as fuck. It looked so fun. The cast is amazing. Kristen Shaw is in it. Everyone.
Tony Hale, right?
Tony Hale.
Yeah.
Like the young kids look fun. It kind of reminded me of, I don't know, just kind of like the 90s family films that we grew up on that they don't make a ton of anymore. Like that was the vibe I got. Like the fun, adventurous 90s and 80s family films that are kind of missing.
The books are very whimsical, very clever. They have a lot of elements of Lemony Snicket's work.
Okay.
And I think, I'm really excited. I mean, I had always, when I was reading them, I kept thinking about how great of a movie it would be, but I think a series is even better. It has a lot of the tropes, like they're at sort of a boarding school. There's a mysterious benefactor. They get into hijinks. But I think a boarding school structure is perfect because each season could be a year of their boarding school, which is each book is 1 year at the school. So
Similar to Harry Potter then.
Yes.
yeah, exactly. Mhm.
Yeah. So I thought
I mean,
those were
definitely it was one of the series that was certainly, if not inspired, was published in the wake of Harry Potter shaking up the publishing industry. So
yeah. I dug the trailer. Does anyone have any thoughts on this one before we dive even deeper into the shit that got announced? No?
Tony Hale looked great.
Yeah, Tony Hale looked great. I agree with that. And we had a donation from Mike K. He donated and said, I got to say, one of the weirdest announcements I heard today was Pixar's Lightyear starring Chris Evans as a space ranger.
Oh, we'll get there.
Don't
We'll
worry.
get there.
We're going to get there. And there is so much to unpack with that.
Guys, I wanted to acknowledge real quick, we're 45 minutes in and we're just now getting to Nat Geo.
Yeah, and I was going to say...
Geo, let's go.
I'm gonna tell you guys. I literally talked about this for 2.5 hours on my own channel before I got here, and I've still got plenty to say.
I talked for 2 hours and I can go on that one.
Yeah, we got a
And
way
I'm
to
gonna be
go.
talking all day tomorrow too.
If there's one thing we know here at the Pajukin, it's long streams.
There's so much in the Nat Geo stuff. Is there anything in the Nat Geo stuff that you guys specifically want to talk about, or do you want to? Does anyone want to talk about? We can go over what was announced. and then
I just love the title of Will Smith's show.
Welcome
It's
to Earth.
so on the nose.
So the one thing to note, it's still a working title.
Working title.
Yeah.
They gotta
So-
keep that though.
But I'm really, really, really excited for the Cousteau
Yes.
show.
Yes.
Like I was like, that is kind of. I was like, okay, I don't normally pay attention to Nat Geo stuff, but I think you got me on that one.
Yeah, that one looked great, and the Chris Evans one looked cool too.
Chris Hemsworth.
Or Chris Hemsworth. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
mean,
agree.
that one
The Limitless one looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know. I'm kind of over people doing
That
like,
I did.
I want to know how much of it is going to be actually informative,
Right.
or
I
how
don't know.
much of it is going to be like just a less hurt yourself version of Jackass.
See, so Dwayne, the only reason did you watch the Zac Efron one on Netflix?
I watched
Down to
like
Earth.
The one where he almost
a
died.
few minutes of an episode because
I
it did not
watched-
intrigue me at all.
I watched the whole thing, and honestly, it's
100%, Patty.
And that's like minor on the list of what they announced today.
Well, that's what I was going to say is like the Zac Efron one, like he's really having an open mind. He's going with a good friend of his and exploring a lot of things that you don't get a lot of attention to. And it sounds kind of like that's what Chris Hemsworth is trying to do as well. So,
Well, from my understanding of what the show was, is that he's trying to like push his body to the limit,
that's a little different.
and I wanted like I'm hesitant about it because I want to know, is it just him and like people indulging him pushing his body to the limit and then filming it, or is it actually going to be informative about some of the things that he's doing? Like that's really, because if it's informative, then I'll be a little bit more interested. But if it's just watching him do a bunch of stunts, like I don't care.
I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, especially given like he also has. I don't know. Was there a trailer for this one, PJ? Do you know /
Yeah,
remember?
there was.
Yeah.
Okay, and you think this was more akin
But
to
that's
Jackass than
why
was?
it's that. Well, it wasn't like super because there were moments where they were like, oh, it's gonna be all about the scientific process, and then it like shows him surfing in Iceland, like, and I'm like, okay, or him like diving into ice cold water, and I'm like, oh, okay, like there's a little bit of both, and I'm not sure which one is gonna be leaned into more. And if it's more the science, then like I'm down for that. Like the science part intrigues me. Because like he is, as they was like one of the first lines in the trailer, he's literally a superhero body. So like how far can you really push that body?
Totally. All right.
I agree with
So I agree
real
with what
quick,
Dwayne's.
Genius. Genius. Do we know if that's is that a documentary series or is that a actual?
No,
Like,
Genius is a running series. There's been seasons
Yes.
about
Albert Einstein,
Alpha,
Picasso.
Einstein, and
Is it dramatization or is it?
Yeah,
it's
Ron, and Ron
dramatized.
Howard produces it
Yes.
with Brian
I'm
Grazer.
super,
yeah,
I'm
each
super interested
season
in that.
is like a mini series
Yeah.
that are pretty good.
Cool. I'm interested in that.
Yeah, it's great if you get a chance to watch it. I highly
will.
recommend it. So let's move into some of the stuff on Hulu.
Yeah, I thought today was a good day seeing the Nobody trailer, and then it was even just
Oh
up
my
from
god,
there.
it's so good.
Yeah,
Nobody was so good.
the Nobody trailer is
can-
great.
Yeah, we can talk about that at the end.
Yeah,
There's a lot,
but
there's a lot to unpack there too.
Yeah, and, there's so much to unpack there. But let's do this.
I
real
already
quick.
have theories, which I tweeted earlier.
Like we said, obviously, Star was a big announcement for the international audience, but one of the things they focused on was the Hulu announcements for here. Handmaid's Tale, unsurprisingly, was renewed for another season, bringing it to a season 5 order. Then we got a new miniseries called 9 Perfect Strangers that David E. Kelley, once again, is working on. This one starring Nicole Kidman, Melissa McCarthy, and Regina Hall. And that
I read the book. It's perfect for a miniseries.
awesome. And also, I think written by the person who did Big Little Lies. So even better that Nicole Kidman is in it.
The book is by the same author. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then the big announcements out of FX, though. Number one, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was renewed for another 4 seasons. The reason this is a big deal, I know, Max, you don't care, but and I don't even watch the show, but this is big history-wise. It will be the longest-running sitcom of all time. That's
Longest running,
huge.
but won't be the most number of episodes because they do shorter seasons.
Right,
So-
10-episode seasons.
I personally love that show, but here's the problem: when it comes on film, when it comes on air, I don't care. I'll wait like 3 years and then go back and binge whatever I missed. Like, it's not something that gets me excited, but when I watch it, I'm like, okay, this is fucking hilarious.
I watched like the first 3 seasons and then I fell off because it was just like I can only watch so many sociopaths do so many things so many times.
Yeah,
And there's zero connection.
It's part of the problem I had with that show on Netflix, Friends from College.
Oh,
nobody in the show was a good person. So it's like, why do I want to watch this?
Which was being filmed by you, Jacob?
I was really into the show in college. I like loved the first 6 seasons or whatever, and then it kept going and going, and it just
let the past die.
Yeah,
kill it if you have to.
And sure, like unlikable or terrible people is like a constant trope of sitcoms. Like we could break down The Office, Friends, Frasier, Cheers. These are
How I Met Your Mother.
Seinfeld. These are people doing terrible things, but there's also some nuance to it. There's romances you care about. This is literally 6 people who would murder a baby for a bag of cocaine in an alley, trying to make you laugh, and it's
I just empathize with them.
I'm kind of over it.
So that was their big. That was a big announcement, though.
Real quick, Ricardo Franco. It's not a weird branding choice where it's actually going to be in the market because they don't have stars.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing that came out of this, we'd heard for a little while they were going to do a rebooted version of Shogun. That was officially announced today.
I'm
as part
so
of Hulu,
excited for that.
and I'm super excited about that.
Shogun is an incredible novel.
Yes, it is.
There is some issues of appropriation in the authoring of it, and the miniseries I felt was even worse in terms of whitewashing. So I think this is a great opportunity to do it more justice and more authenticity to the themes and the culture. And I hope that's the approach they take. I hope they get appropriate people to write it and direct it, and not just a bunch of white people like the miniseries.
Well,
but it is a really great
novel. The novel is written by a white guy?
Yeah.
But I am excited about this. I like Shogun a lot. I think you can do a lot with it. And I think in today's world, we can dive into more. Dwayne, do you have any real thoughts on Shogun?
No, I'm super excited for it because
Me too.
feudal Japan is like
Cool.
so interesting. Just like the political landscape of it, I think is more interesting than Game of Thrones because it was like real Game of Thrones.
I mean,
that's
you could
what
argue
feudal
that
Japan
like
was like.
all of the high fantasy stuff we love is like heavily inspired by feudal Japan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's like, that's why I'm like, that was written by a white guy, right? Because there is definitely this definitely like fetishizing of samurai and ninja culture and Asian culture.
For sure.
You know, and I, think that like, look, if I'm going to write a fantasy novel, it will be medieval European because that's what is my heritage. I'm never going to go think, okay, I should go write about feudal Japan. But it makes sense,
I don't inherently have a problem personally with someone if they pay the respect, do the research, and present it properly.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes time to translate something on the written page to film medium, it's more important to do it the right way and with the right people involved.
Well, and absolutely cast the right people.
I was just going to say, it's not like a Ghost in the Shell and you're putting Scarlett Johansson front and center because you're
right.
I don't have. Well, let's not get into that.
That's a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
Dwayne, I know where you're going with this, and I
that particular one I don't necessarily have a problem with. But more to Max's point, one of the really a very, very good example of someone doing it right is Rick Riordan with the Kane Chronicles. The entire
100%.
thing is about Egypt and Egyptian history and Egyptian mythology, and it is done impeccably.
Mm-hmm. I've heard good things about that series.
It is great. And that's why I'm so excited. That is why I'm so excited for Percy Jackson being a series and not movies, because there is so much room for expansion.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Especially into the other series like Heroes of Olympus and all that down the line. Oh man.
Yep. Another announcement, and I actually didn't see this until now. I actually didn't even hear him say this, and I'm super excited about it. They're in advanced talks for a 2-season order on the Stones, which is going to be a series about the Rolling Stones in their early days, which I think is great. I'm a big Rolling Stones fan. I love classic rock. I think there's a lot to mine there. There's a lot that happened with those guys.
How much sex and cocaine do we need to see?
So much.
It's Always Sunny already has that covered.
That's fair. But the big announcement. This is
there's 2 big announcements for me.
There's so many announcements.
No, but
the only one left.
For FX is what I'm talking about.
There's 2.
What's the second one?
Why the Last Man?
Oh yeah. Well, why is that not on here? It's literally not. It's literally not on.
It's in a different spot. It's in the renewals, right?
Oh no, I don't. Yeah. I'm literally looking.
There's FX originals, including American Horror Story Platform, Reservation Dogs, and Why the Last Man.
That's weird. It's in the Nat Geo section. Yeah.
So that's
weird. I moved down. That's weird.
That already exists, right? It's coming to Hulu.
Yeah.
So why the Last Man has been in
development
hell
for a decade,
for like a decade.
Yep.
The fact that it's finally coming is like, God.
I'm excited. I mean, I think it's one of my favorite graphic novel series of all time.
Yeah,
I am excited.
I'm very excited that we're finally getting it. To be honest, this is my number 1 out of this section.
That's not a bad thing.
I don't really care about the next one.
I'm not.
No, and that's okay. I care a lot about the next
one. Get on my ass about reading that because I'm curious.
I will.
But the reason I'm so excited about this one, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big Noah Hawley fan. I love Fargo. I think Fargo is fantastic. I think that Legion it was a great first season. It had some problems along the way, but I think Noah Hawley as a writer is really, really interesting. Noah Hawley is doing the first live-action Alien TV series for FX. I love Robert's got the Xenomorph ready to go, so I'm going to go to Robert. I legit freaked out and was texting Max like, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. I didn't know how to contain my excitement. I love the Alien franchise. Yeah. Ridley Scott is still producing alongside Noah Hawley, who is writing, and it is set on present day or close to present day Earth, which is fucking fascinating.
Well, and it's the first ever encounter with aliens on Earth, which is the big deal.
Which is a huge deal. There's so much to unpack with this, but I lost my mind. I love it. Sean, you look very confused, but let me go to Robert first. You have many questions. You always have questions.
I've always wanted to see what they could do as far as like the aliens on Earth, and we kind of got like a little bit out of like the 2 AVP movies, which kind of don't count. But like I wanted to see something. What happens if the aliens are just unleashed, unbridled on Earth? How do we stop the aliens from reproducing chest bursters all over the place? I love this concept, and that they introduced that as in still keeping the horror elements of the original, but keeping the action of the second one. Like I'm actually surprised James Cameron doesn't have a hand in this also. So I'm super psyched for this one.
There's no way we stop them. We can't even wear masks.
That's a great fucking point, Dwayne.
I'm sure that would play in. And
yeah, the face hugger's like, oh, I guess I can't impregnate him. He's got a mask on. Wear your mask.
How they live, yeah.
Jake, did you have any thoughts on this?
No, I think it's a great way to continue the franchise. The movies haven't worked as of late, anyway, for me. And change it up a little bit and let someone like Noah Hawley, who is incredibly creative and great at filmmaking, tackle something that really kind of does need like a fresh hand at it, you know.
I did want to see Neil Blomkamp's version though.
I did, but I will also say every time Neil Blomkamp touched a movie since District 9, it kind of just like fell down a notch. But at the same time,
Chappie was okay, but
parts.
So I didn't really like. I was cool for it, but I wasn't like whatever if it happened. I would much rather see someone like Noah Hawley, who seems to touch a lot of properties and seems to know exactly what he's doing, touch something like Alien, and you make it as a TV series. I'm totally down for it. And the fact that it's going to be on something like Hulu, where it doesn't have to play with like cable stuff, I'm all in on that. It's going to be really fun and awesome. I'm definitely in for it.
Jake, I just need a clarification. You mean after District 9?
Everything after District 9 kept doing.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yes,
because District 9 is close to a masterpiece.
yes.
He was about to disown you.
I think Noah Hawley is an incredibly smart writer of television. I think his first foray into motion pictures was a miss. Lucy in the Sky with Natalie Portman.
Okay.
But if you had said to me they're making an Alien TV series, I sort of would have shrugged. And I like Alien Covenant a lot, as opposed to Jake. Prometheus is fine. I like the series. I think there's potential. But hearing Noah Hawley is doing it is what made me very curious and thinking, oh, this could be something cool.
I really hope
he showed with Fargo that he is really smart with playing in an existing sandbox and subverting it in ways you may not anticipate. And I think there will be a lot of high-profile actors wanting to play with him and in this world. I would love to see some of the Fargo cast come back, like Ewan McGregor or Patrick Wilson. I think would be a great lead for this series. Allison Tolman. I think there's a lot of fun things here. Bokeem Woodbine, who was masterful in Fargo, I think would be great in an Alien TV show. So there's a lot of potential here. I think it could be really fun. And on Hulu, they'll be able to face hug and chest explode the shit out of it. So let's go, man.
Hell yeah, man. So
I think the correction is it's on FX, not Hulu.
But isn't it FX on Hulu?
No,
as
yeah,
opposed to FX
Hulu, I think.
it's FX. On, it's together.
So-
FX and Hulu are like a thing.
Well, FX has two things now. So sort of like how there's HBO and HBO Max, there are some shows that air on FX and some FX shows that air as FX on Hulu. So like Miss America was FX on Hulu.
FX. This is
FX? Okay.
This is going to
broadcast
cable.
television. Yeah, this is broadcast television.
But on FX,
Yeah, but FX, Legion didn't pull any punches.
Sons of Anarchy, like they're fine. FX is
and
gonna
also
be fine.
and also almost all of the shows that are on FX are only exclusively on there for their broadcast, and then as soon as they're done for the season, they get moved over to Hulu. So you're going to be able to watch it on Hulu. And what they'll probably do is give you like the 1 day, 2 day delay for a lot of the episodes.
Yeah, and it'll be on Hulu, right there.
So you're not losing anything by
and
not
the
having
violence.
cable.
I mean, look at what they show on CSI. Violence is not a problem, and FX they say shit all the time. You could say fuck now. I mean, FX is not subject to the FCC.
Well,
No.
they are, but different restrictions because it's cable television.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said I have questions. I am not super well versed in alien lore.
Okay. Go.
I've seen Alien.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Aliens,
Okay.
There's a long, convoluted history, Sean.
and I've
Yes,
seen
very
Prometheus.
convoluted history. Yeah.
So you
So
got
I know it doesn't make sense.
No, that's fine. My question is, someone said this is the first encounter with them on Earth. Now I understand that one of the big things in the Alien franchise is we've never actually had an Alien movie set on Earth.
Well, AVP.
Those don't count.
but that's not canon.
Yeah, those don't count. So, here's my question: if this is set modern day, the Nostromo is not modern day. Isn't the Nostromo their first encounter?
That is,
But that wasn't Earth.
That wasn't on Earth.
Nostromo is further out in the future, but it was not on Earth.
Yeah.
And they were trying to break.
No. So
Wayland-
I get what
Wayland
Sean's saying.
Utah-
My question is,
Sean is
the
saying,
Nostromo
why have,
is
I'm
their
with you,
first
Sean.
encounter with the Xenomorph.
In as far as we know, yes, but this show is now saying that we could have possibly had the aliens on
Sean.
Earth a long time ago, which is
It's
now our
sci-fi,
current
bro.
day.
You're thinking too much.
Yeah.
Sean, there's a
No,
whole
you're
nother.
supposed to think in sci-fi.
For
There's
all we know, there were xenomorphs on Earth 150, 300, 400 years ago, and it just wasn't recorded, or they wiped our memories. Who the fuck knows?
Which, if I'm
I was
remembering,
also going to say, Sean,
Excuse me, let me go
there's
get
a-
my tinfoil hat.
there's a whole problem with the creation of the xenomorphs. So like, let's.
Yeah.
I feel like
you're-
every time I'm on
Figuring out the Alien series is like trying to
What was that?
reconcile the continuity of the X-Men films. Just don't
Yeah.
try.
or Terminator.
Just
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Jake, what did you say?
I said every time I'm on Pajukan, it turns into science talk.
It does.
but
With
yeah.
Sean.
I love science talk.
But yeah,
Sean, we got a lot to get through.
there's a
We're an
whole
hour
problem with the timeline before you even get to that.
100
Sean.
Yeah, there was
it is.
always
It's
there's
been messed up for years, man.
We'll talk later. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll talk off.
We can have that
We'll
conversation.
bring up the
Okay.
science talk again when
Look.
we bring up Rescue Rangers.
Look, I still want to know the explanation of the orbit of that planet. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You know what? Let's talk about that real quick. Actually, not the orbit of the planet. You guys brought it up. I want to jump ahead before we jump because I'd like to talk about Star Wars towards the end because so much to unpack. God damn it, Sean. I'm taking that fucking soundboard away from you. But someone just mentioned it. We got the Walt Disney Studios side of the panel. They officially announced Hocus Pocus 2, which congratulations. I hope that everyone who wanted it gets the movie that they wanted.
Whoa,
Good luck
buddy.
with that.
You okay?
Tell us how you really feel.
What? What is wrong with me saying I hope you get the movie that you wanted? Like, there's nothing
The
wrong
amount
with that.
of sarcasm
Yeah.
and
That's not
disdain
sarcasm.
dripping off of that statement could paint this shitty ass wall behind me, dude.
There's no sarcasm in that. My bigger thing is and as anyone else has said, comedy sequels notoriously hard to do. But I'm glad they're doing it, and I believe
But you know what other comedy sequels don't have?
Especially years later.
Ed Midler.
Bette Midler, 100%.
and I
Yeah,
believe it's being directed by
Adam
Adam
Shankman.
Shankman.
Adam Shankman, which
Yeah. So that's happening. That's good for
He's
them.
Fine.
I'm
Yeah.
just reading some of these other ones that we've skipped to all of a
I
sudden.
like him as a
Remake,
producer.
baby, with Zach.
No, I
Efron.
know. Yeah, I was gonna say. So
yeah,
Zac Efron.
they had mentioned that. I had heard about that a couple months ago.
They're
So
doing a
good. So-
remake of Cheaper by the Dozen. This is the second remake of Cheaper by the Dozen. This time,
I like
Gabrielle Union
this
is the
one.
lead. I think this is really great.
It's supposed to be interracial family. This is a really
Yes.
good idea.
So
think-
here's
From
here's
Kenya
my-
Barris, who does Blackish and Grownish and Black AF.
here's my thing with this one in particular. They're gonna do an interracial family, and what I'm hoping they will do, but I don't have faith that they will do, is have an interracial relationship that's not black and white.
Yeah, I hope
I've
that
seen
too.
that recently. I know what you're talking about, Dwayne.
Yeah,
Like,
I get what you're
I would really like it if for once that we got an interracial relationship that is not black and white.
I agree with you
So-
100%. And that was, I'm really hoping that's what it is as well, because I think it would be very interesting if they went literally any other direction.
And now to break the tension.
I'm going to help you liberate yourself from the mayonnaise, brothers and sisters.
All right, so there's one thing that I have a question here. There's
This is a
this
science question.
on the D23. There's on the D20 or the not D23.
the
Fucking Christ.
D23.
On the Walt Disney portion of this, there's this image of what looks like Cruella de Vil with 3 Dalmatians.
Yes.
Yes.
But
Which
that's not in the list. So explain that to me.
It was announced, and I'm gonna say right now, this is the sizzle reel that I am most upset that we
Me
did not
too.
get to see. I
Me
am
too.
so upset we did not get to
It's
see
actually
this. Because
it's-
you
lower on the
know
page.
that shit was good.
Yeah.
So
You
this
know
is-
that
this
shit
is
was
what?
good.
Like a Cruella de Vil gangster origin story.
Yes.
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 I'm in.
In-
Yeah.
With Emma Stone as Cruella de Vil, which is just, and
Yes.
Paul
In-
Walter Hauser,
in
who's fucking
Punk-
great.
In punk
Emma
rock
Stone?
England. In
Yep.
punk rock
70.
England. I'm
Yep.
so in.
Sign
Yeah,
it.
and-
So-
sounds
I
incredible.
think they were sort of hinting that because of the ongoing pandemic, it's likely that this will maybe day and date with D+. But I don't think they've officially decided yet.
No,
so,
this one's
but
a
is this a
Disney.
movie?
This is a Disney Plus exclusive. That's
Yeah,
what it
this,
is.
this was always
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was in the Disney Plus original branded content.
Oh,
Yeah.
but wasn't it meant for theaters originally?
It was so
Maybe.
here's what
Maybe.
I'll say. They basically said today all of our remakes that we would have done theatrically are all now Disney Plus exclusives.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Pinocchio,
Cool.
this one, Peter Pan and Wendy, Disenchanted, not a remake, obviously, but and
Look,
Sister
you
Act
know.
3, which Sister Act 3 is very interesting, and here's why. Sister Act was going to be rebooted a couple years ago. they decided to go the other direction. Tyler Perry is producing with Whoopi Goldberg returning, which I think is a pretty cool get, actually.
Yeah. The only reboot
I'm super excited about because I'm a huge Sister Act fan from back in the early 90s.
I really love.
I was actually going to introduce this as like also in the Kathy and the Jamie train, not piggybacking off of Hocus Pocus 2. Kathy and the Jamie's about to have a fantastic year.
So.
Yeah.
I love Sister Act.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I love Sister Act, but I am a little worried about Tyler Perry.
You
I
think?
could see that.
Yeah.
I was
He
gonna
doesn't
say-
have a great reputation in the African American community.
No, I know. Yeah.
So him being attached to this worries me a little bit, especially with where the story for Dolores,
Yeah.
Yeah, Dolores.
where she starts.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
things that he would probably want to do with that story worry me a little
being
bit.
like a Las Vegas showgirl.
Yes, in an abusive relationship. That
Yeah. I don't disagree.
yeah. So the Tyler Perry, I hope he doesn't do too much with
It's
it.
also Tyler Perry and Disney. So.
Well, but
True,
he's also
true.
not, and
But
at least
I'm just-
he's not directing either. I think
Yeah.
he's only producing, and that's the
Yeah.
other thing. So
It's so it makes me nervous, but I'm still
Sure.
really excited for
Is
it.
here a question, Dwayne? Is there a name that would come on as a writer or director that would like quell your nerves about that? That you can think of top of your head. I realize that's a very specific question.
Here, let's also wrap this in a trivia question. Who directed the second one? Because that's who I would pick. Let's see. Any of y'all know who directed the second one? Because it's completely off the wall.
No.
I don't know non-Star Wars.
Do you,
I mean,
let me
I
ask you,
know.
do you know Predator? Do you know Predator?
yep.
Yeah.
Bill Duke.
Bill Duke
Oh,
directed
interesting.
that?
Bill
Okay.
Duke
Yes.
directed.
I mean,
Sister
it
Act.
makes
Wow, that's awesome.
He
someone
also has a
in the-
cameo. He's working at the bodega that's across the street that the kids hang out at.
Bill Duke sells you a crossbow out of a camper. It's got everything.
someone who came to my mind is Malcolm D. Lee,
Oh,
Spike's cousin, who I think could do a great job.
He
I was
did-
just going to
he's
say,
done so
when
much
they're
good stuff.
talking about a reboot, the only reboot I would have been okay with is if it was an adaptation of the stage musical.
Right.
But I like Sister Act a lot. I think this will be cool.
And I'm excited to see
and-
Whoopi again. It's been
Yeah,
a minute,
I mean,
you know
she
what
hasn't acted that much, although she's in The Stand, which is coming out soon. So I'm just excited to see her act again because I think she's so
Is
good.
this isn't a reboot? This is a sequel.
It's
This
a
is
sequel.
just-
Yeah,
It's
this is
literally
a
Sister
sequel.
Act 3.
So
Yeah.
so my initial thoughts are both already attached to other projects. So I don't know if
Go
they
for
would
it.
be
Fantasy.
attached
Do
to
it.
this, but Justin Simeon would be a great
Yep.
choice, or Kenya Barris. Like that would also be
Yeah.
a name that would be attached to this, and I would not be as worried. As right now, the only name attached to this is Tyler Perry.
And both
on
of
that
those
side of things.
were attached to Disney announcements today. That's funny.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
and they're both fantastic.
They're
Yeah,
already in
Dear,
the
Dear
family.
White People is awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
I just think it's so interesting. You know, you said all of these villain or like remakes that were maybe meant for theaters are now going to Disney Plus, and I think what today's a whole investor meeting, like the ultimate takeaway I had was, as opposed to all the other studios who are sort of hedging their bets or doing two things at once or playing it safe, Disney's like, look, COVID is real. COVID's not going anywhere. We don't know what's happening. We have a business to run. We have investors to satisfy. We are going to pivot. We are going to pivot strong, and we are going to say, this is what we're doing. We have established a very successful streaming service. Let's use it.
Fucking all in, baby. That's what they
No,
did.
that was exactly it.
What?
Oh, pivot. I see what you're referring.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Of
Another
course,
terrible character.
as we know, Pinocchio, directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Tom Hanks, is going to be on Disney Plus. Peter Pan and Wendy, starring Jude Law. I mean, nothing super exciting out of that. The most exciting one.
No,
Say it,
look,
PJ.
Yes,
Say it.
Jude Law in eyeliner. Very exciting.
But we've also
was
had how many
gonna say-
fucking Peter Pan
Yeah,
adaptations?
exactly.
Okay, but I was going to
That's
say that's
more
my
thing,
least
I guess.
excited. That's the one I'm least excited about until I hear Jude Law as
Yeah.
Captain Hook. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm in.
Yeah,
Man.
Dan,
gotta-
don't
you
be
gotta-
threatened because he's the one man alive who's more handsome than you.
Wait, he didn't just drop out. He
It was PJ.
Oh, PJ,
Was it me?
like left.
He kicked himself.
Yeah, I was like, the screen
Maybe
all
he
froze
crashed.
for me for a second, and then
Oh, he's back.
So the
It's a
other,
great name. It's a great name.
the other major,
I want you to say it.
Now, can I say
There's
it
two more.
finally?
There's two more.
there's two more. So
There's
the
two
one
more.
that excites me more than maybe more than anything else today
I think I know what you're going to say.
is
I know you.
Disenchanted.
Yeah, you took.
Yeah.
You stepped
Look,
on
you
what I
left.
wanted to do.
You left.
No,
Someone
I
had to
didn't.
take over as host. Okay.
God, you monster.
Enchanted is fantastic. I already have so many thoughts about what Disenchanted could be, especially with that title. It's been a long time coming. I am so excited. I think it's gonna be wonderful.
This is my question. Do we get James Marsden back? Because that's
Yes.
what I really want to know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mike makes a good point. Just to jump back real quick to Peter Pan and Wendy. David Lowery, what he did with Pete's Dragon was stunning, and his other films like A Ghost Story.
I think
good.
he's
So that's
incredible.
an interesting choice.
I just feel like we've had Peter Pan adaptations
I'm with you,
so
PJ.
frequently that I don't know what we do with another one.
How many productions of Hamlet and Richard III have there been?
No,
Hold on. Are you comparing Peter Pan to Shakespeare?
I'm just saying.
no, you're not wrong, and you're 100%
Kind
not
of,
wrong.
yeah.
I guess
mean, it's just a story, and any story can be retold if it's done in an interesting.
I don't know.
I
Like,
like the president.
But wasn't Hugh Jackman like Hook like 2 years ago?
No, he was not Hook. He was it was pre-Hook. He
yeah,
was like Blackbeard.
Who was
There was also a movie this year called Wendy, but it happened. You know, whatever. Move on. Don't see it if you don't want to.
no, but I can also just
I'm
say
happy.
I'm gonna watch it. It's just weird to me. Like, of all the things that they're doing, that was the one I just didn't. I don't know why.
Can I
agree,
can I
Ricardo.
point out-
It
Can I
is.
point out Revism's comment there?
Yeah,
I want that.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, or Great Mouse Detective.
Ooh, girl, give
No,
me.
Anton, you are right on time.
Give me.
But
give me
here's
some
the
Black
other one.
Cauldron.
So Disenchanted
I-
happening is so fantastic. Oh, go ahead, Dwayne.
I was gonna say I think we will get the Black Cauldron.
I think so too.
I
Really?
think we will get it. Yeah, I think we'll get it.
I think so too.
And maybe we can actually finish the series.
We are.
with-
Sword in the
with-
Stone's already in
I was
development.
gonna say with a lot of the things that we're seeing, like coming to Disney Plus, that you're like, really? They're gonna do that?
I need Oliver.
I think the Black Cauldron is definitely a distinct possibility.
I hope
I
so.
think
I agree. I agree.
Okay, so that's going to happen. But Jake and I were really excited to talk about this earlier, so we have to address Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers
Yeah.
because
Yes.
I am so fucking
John
excited.
Mulaney.
John Mulaney
Dude.
and Andy Samberg in a
Please.
hybrid live action with Akiva Schaffer directing. Like, this is the Lonely Island finally getting to do what they do, but in like different avenues. Like, creatively, those guys are so good. I'm so excited. I didn't even we're getting spammed, or like, you guys are just going through everything as they're announcing, and like somebody said Rescue Rangers, and I was like, okay. And then I read the tweet where I'm like, wait, who?
Yeah,
and then
Jill,
all of a sudden I'm like,
Jill told me
now
they're
I'm
doing a
excited.
Chip and Dale movie. I'm like, why do I care about that? She's like, well,
Bill
it's John
Strippers.
Mulaney. I'm like, oh, okay, I care about that.
So here's my thing, and it doesn't take away from John Mulaney and Andy Samberg, but why do you get people with voices that are that recognizable if you're just gonna speed them up and distort them?
That was my problem with the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies too, because they got like Justin Long to do the voice of Alvin.
I
but
don't.
then they
I don't
just-
think they're going to
they
speed them up and
Chipmunkified
distort
them.
them
They will,
because
either.
isn't there? I don't think they're going to.
They,
I mean,
but
if they don't, it
Dale,
makes
though.
sense. But I was just, is it just going off what?
Isn't it
we
Nick
got
Kroll,
before?
not Andy
So
Samberg?
it's like,
No,
No,
it's
it's
No,
Andy
it's Andy Samberg.
Oh,
and
it's Andy
John
Andy
Mulaney.
Samberg. Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
and they also said Seth Rogen's involved, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They said he was.
He's going to be Monterey Jack.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure Nick Kroll will be in it. Anything that
Oh, the
They
anything
showed-
that John
I'm
Mulaney
mad
does
that-
now, Nick Kroll's in.
This was the other thing I was mad we didn't get to see, because they did show some footage from it, including whatever Seth Rogen's doing. We all assume, rightfully so, he's probably Monterey Jack. But they also said his role was like no more than a cameo. So
Oh.
maybe he's playing
But
himself.
They said you'll definitely tell it's him.
Right. Well, that's why I'm wondering. Maybe he just plays himself. Like maybe.
I'm just hoping if this is successful, we'll get the live action Tailspin show also.
Ooh, yeah.
That'd be dope. I'm not gonna lie to you.
We could have just a whole live action Disney afternoon.
Yes.
Get
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck in there.
All right.
So
So
just canceled them.
outside of that,
Let's,
some real cool things, because I really want to get into the rest of this.
Yeah.
But there was some really cool stuff. Diary of a Wimpy Kid is getting an animated movie series, as well as a Ice Age spinoff with Simon Pegg. This was made for me and only me, and I'm okay with that because I really like his character Buck. And the one that was actually very cool, and I think this is the right way to do it, is Night at the Museum's returning. It's going to be about Ben Stiller's son, and it's animated. What a cool way to continue the series. That kind of leads us to, we already knew that they were doing The Lion King 2. That was officially announced. Little Mermaid was officially announced with its full cast.
Joan delayed.
Yep. Yep. That's 100% right, Mike. And then from there, we jump into the Walt Disney animation side, which this was some of my favorite stuff because I think that Walt Disney Animation jumping into television for the first time on their own, not with any of the smaller companies, is such an interesting and different move for them. And I liked a lot of what came out of this. The first thing, of course, that kind of like surprised me, because there's already a Big Hero 6 TV show. It was like an animated sequel for kids.
I agree. I was surprised because I watched that show and liked it.
Yeah, but now we're getting a real Big Hero 6 sequel series with Baymax set in San Francisco. That's like a story of the week one where he's helping people as what he was meant to be. He's supposed to be a nurse. And so him dealing with life in San Francisco. I'm a big fan of Big Hero 6. So this news was super fucking awesome to me. Anyone have any thoughts on the Big Hero 6 sequel?
I'm hoping that they do. They probably can't fully connect it, but I would like at least a nod to the MCU.
That'd be amazing. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'd be okay with that.
They had a Stanley cameo, an official one.
Yes, yeah, in the movie, yeah. So that's what I want like a, now that Disney has got the huge MCU world, I would like to see them maybe do a actual connection, like mention the fact that like maybe Tony Stark has passed and there's no Iron Man, Spider-Man now exists. The problem is having San Francisco. I can't say the city.
San Francisco.
Having that still also in like the world where San Francisco exists and Tokyo exists, because MCU is for the most part still rooted in the real world with a couple of fictional places, Latveria, Wakanda, whatever. But
I just realized it says Ahsoka shill, and the whole time I was reading it as Ahsoka kills.
You sound good, right, Max?
Oh, Maxwell.
After 11 o'clock at night, Jake gets evil.
Well, good thing it's only 10:30 here.
But the other one that I was super excited about, and it's fucking time that this character got her due, in my opinion, because The Princess and the Frog is one of my favorite animated Disney films, and Tiana is getting her own TV series. I thought this was brilliant. What a cool move to finally follow up on The Princess and the Frog in my opinion, the right way. Tiana deserves a lot of love, and this was so cool to me. I can't believe that they're actually doing an animated Tiana series.
Yeah, Sean, where do we talk about this without Jill?
She's on a show. She's
that's
on
right.
a thing.
Oh.
So Princess and the Frog, I've seen that movie a few times. I like it. I tend to not like the Disney princess movies. They're obviously not for me. It's not, but Princess of the Frog is fucking great. My friend Marcus, who was on stream with me earlier, I asked him, what are you most excited for out of the whole announcement? And he said Princess and the Frog, because he loves that movie and he's a chef and he's not a chef, but he's a passionate baker.
You know who else is a passionate baker?
Ryan, I know.
Yeah.
PJ has been known
He's
to
real
be a
passionate
very,
about
very
getting
passionate baker.
I love to cook.
Nope.
That's not
That's not
what I'm talking about at all.
He's a butcher and
so
a baker.
here's and this will probably roll into the next story or topic or
However, whatever we want to call it, right?
But I thought it was very telling, and also I'm very intrigued that the next show that we're probably going to be talking about was specifically noted as being a musical.
Right.
This
Which is
one was
Moana.
not.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It sounded like this one was almost more of a sitcom, like the way that they were talking about it.
And that's what intrigued me, is this one is not going to be musical in nature.
Right. I'm 100% with you because I totally caught what they were saying, where it was like it's kind of like they're doing a animated sitcom with Tiana in her life after the fact, and I think that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. That is mind blowing, Ricardo.
What the hell, Rick?
That is
Wow.
That's incredible.
That is amazing.
God damn it, Rick. But yeah, man, I thought that was super interesting because they purposely didn't seem to touch on the music.
Did they
go to the same school?
I have so many questions.
I have so many questions, Ferris.
But
All right.
they made a point to say that Moana was going to be the first musical show.
Yep.
So that either means Tiana is not going to be musical, or Moana's coming out before Tiana.
That's possible.
So it means one of those two things.
All right, talking about Moana, the Walt Disney Animation thing that excited me the most, by a significant margin, is their newly announced film Encanto.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 60, by the way.
Right. So it's written by Charisse Castro-Smith, who's a playwright who also wrote for the TV series The Exorcist and The Haunting of Hill House, which is really interesting credentials to write a Disney animated film. Directed by Howard and Jared Bush, who did Zootopia. But it is now going to be the second Walt Disney animation film with an original score and songs written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. The last time Lin-Man wrote music for a Disney film, it was incredible, and that Oscar was stolen from him by Pasek and Paul.
Later, John.
Good night, Johnny. The little teaser they put was fantastic. It takes place in Colombia, so I think Lin is going to get to write in his own idiom, like in the Heights style Latinx music.
I assume, Jen, that she has to be coming back. It seems like
I think so.
They were getting most of the voice cast back for all of them, it seemed like. So that was how I Oh my god. God damn it, Tim.
Oh, the nuance in that joke.
So good. So good.
Beautiful.
Can I just say the only reason I like it when Tim isn't on shows with us
We get those jokes.
is because he's so funny in the chat.
The
He has
nuance.
more time to think of them if he's on here. Remember, he showed the other day on stream how bad he is at improv. But when he has that little extra time to think of his jokes, boom. Samuel Clemens.
I really want to know how many people got all of the nuance in that joke.
Yeah, so what do we know about and forgive me if I fucking butcher this. Iwaju?
I think that's
Wait, can you said it correctly. Can we get to that in a second?
Yeah, I was going to say let's.
Well, it depends.
I want to get
an
to that.
hour and a half to get through Star Wars and Marvel.
No, we do
We're
need
not
to touch
even
on
there
Iwaju
yet.
though. No, we need to.
But
talk about
I think
Iwaju.
Iwaju is incredibly important.
Yeah, we have to touch on it. But let's get through the Encanto one. We'll go to Iwaju and then we'll bounce over to Pixar. Or are we done with
So
that?
in Cantu, I'm extremely excited. And in my chat earlier, someone was really booty tickled about the way
Booty tickled?
yes,
Great
booty
phrasing
tickled.
right there.
Okay.
About
Specific.
this
it's sort of like
yeah.
Okay. Prostate.
Situation?
Got
You
it.
just
Go
play
on.
you just play with it. Anyway.
Get your butt
They were-
at people.
They were booty tickled
we know
about
too.
this. They were booty tickled about this and Iwaju because they felt that Disney only tells stories about other cultures when they're a fantasy. And my counter to that was Disney literally is a company built on fantasy.
True.
Yeah.
The fuck is Sleeping Beauty?
And that's what I was like, oh, last time I checked, France didn't have castles that have living inanimate objects and beasts.
Or
So,
castles that
like-
large?
Like that too. But I was like, dude, I was like, bro, come on, man. Like the entire brand is built on fantasy. So like,
Yeah.
what are you upset about?
It's built on fantasy and a happy ending.
Yeah. So like, why are you so mad at? So I'm super excited about Encanto and moving into Iwaju. I am One picture, and I'm fucking sold.
Oh,
You're
so
right, Jen.
I
Do
am.
we have a picture?
Yes, there is
Yes.
one picture.
I'll
Hook,
find
line,
it.
and
I got it, I
sinker.
got it, I
am
got it.
fucking sold. I think I can already tell sort of what the
Gimme.
story is going to be, but I am sold. I'm pretty
What-
sure it's going to
Oh.
be Romeo and Juliet esque, judging
Yes.
by the picture. The two different sides of the city, on different sides of the river, dressed drastically differently. The
Well,
the two sides are
and-
styled drastically differently.
The other thing I
Um,
love too was that this came from the guys who are making this. They literally wrote an article basically saying they wanted to kick Disney's ass, and it got their attention enough that they hired them to do something different.
That's
here we go.
amazing. Wow.
Well, no, they were already creating
that
animation
up for me. I
projects.
gotta see
Right.
Yeah. So they actually didn't write the article. The article was written about them.
Oh, about them. Okay,
Yes.
I misunderstood.
And
Thank you.
Disney saw them and were like, yeah, they are coming for us.
No,
Let's
okay.
work with these guys.
Yeah, and it was right. It was the right move, and I love that about that.
I'm into this.
I also think based on I don't know, I didn't see how much they said about it, but based on that image, it's clearly going to deal in Afrofuturism, which I think is such a fascinating genre
It
that
is-
has not had its mainstream due. I mean, Black Panther arguably in some ways delved into that, but to see that image and what the possibilities are and the amazing art style and culture, and then science fiction, it has potential to be really incredible.
It takes place in a futuristic Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So
I've been
that's very
I have-
close then to Starship Troopers.
Damn it, Dan. There is a small movement in the role playing game
I
community.
like how Jake is just sitting here waiting for us to talk about Star Wars.
He also wants to talk about Marvel. So
Fine.
there's a small movement in the role playing game community right now to get more African based fantasy and Afrofuturism type fantasy out there as role playing game products. So I've gotten to see a lot more of that art style and a lot more of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've seen Excellence a lot. There's a new role playing game that's being kicked around called Swords Fall right now, and it's not Afrofuturism, but it's based on African. As much as D&D is based on traditional European, Swords Fall, I think is the name of it, is based on like the African fantasy mythos. And holy shit, that stuff is just visually stunning. I'm into it. I'm down. Before we move on from, because I think that's our last one on Disney, right? On the Disney animated.
We had to put a pin in Waju.
Well, we just talked about
No,
it.
this was the Waju.
Yeah, this was a
that.
Waju.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I was confused. You were thinking.
I wanted to make a note about Raya and the Last Dragon,
Yes.
Yes.
which is on the movie end of things, and that's going to be a co-release with Disney Plus.
The first
Uh,
one.
so-
You will have to
Premiere
pay
also.
for it.
Later, Ricardo.
Yeah.
So
Or-
are they really doing this?
I've got
Marcus-
something on
Marcus
this.
brings up a point. I wonder if the guy with the 4 dragon minis wants to talk about the one that has dragon in it.
I've got something about this.
So why $30? Why are they doing this?
Well, we
Here's-
don't know.
I'm-
you
I'm
don't
about
know
to-
if it's $30.
I'm about
No,
to
it
break
says
it down.
on
They said
Oh,
it.
did it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
missed it.
23, $29.99.
I'm about to
Good.
break it down for you. All right. So the number that they gave us today for current Disney Plus subscribers was 86.8 million, right? I think that's what they
Yes.
said.
Can you give me some ice?
There are some these are probably it is probably a generous estimated reporting. About a third of Disney Plus subscribers paid for Mulan.
Okay.
If that number is correct, Mulan made them almost $1 billion.
But
Well-
there's one other thing that people are not taking into account in this situation is the reason it's day and dating and it's probably staying that price is that they're probably also cutting the theaters in because there's something about this entire presentation that people were missing, and that was the fact that they were very much biting at WB and WB's kind of lack of tact with the theater industry.
100% Disney spoke to the theaters
Yes.
before, which Warner Brothers did not. It's interesting to me that this film, as opposed to some of the others, is going to be premiere access and theaters. However,
Later
I think they didn't want to push it again past March. I think, plenty of theaters will still be open in March, as a lot are now, other than New York and LA. It's a risk. I think most people will choose to watch it at home. And I think more people, and families especially, would be excited for this than Mulan.
I'm more
Yes,
excited for this than Mulan.
100%.
100%.
I'm so
Oh
much
yeah,
more
and
excited
I
for this.
paid for Mulan. I enjoyed
Me too.
Mulan. I didn't regret it because Liz and I watched it. To see a movie here would have cost us $15 each, anyways, and we got to watch it twice. I understand that for a single person, it's a high price. For families, it's expensive, not the theater experience. But I think Mulan proved that the price works.
Yeah, that's if a third of their subscribers paid for it.
Yep.
That's almost it's over $800 million.
Yep.
So if a tenth of their subscribers paid for it, they're still raking in the dough.
Yeah.
Right.
And
100%.
that's not including the box office that Mulan made overseas, where it played in theaters.
They have to be playing this way because if it's in theaters, you need to be making money one way or another. So you can't just give it to free.
Yeah, and someone posited to me when I was talking about this earlier, well, why didn't they do this with Soul? And the reason I said that they didn't do this with Soul is the biggest reason, I think, is the eligibility requirements for the Oscars this year.
Mm-hmm.
If it was originally slated to be released in a theater, it's still eligible for Oscars.
Yep.
Which means they want this in front of as many eyes as possible
Yep.
before the Oscars.
It's also
Because
agreements
from-
with Pixar as well. But
Because what we've heard about this film, it's winning.
Yep. And it's next level great from everything we've heard.
So I think that played a lot into why. Also, they're releasing it on Christmas Day. Like they are going to get so much goodwill out of that.
And in comparison to Wonder Woman, which is releasing on Christmas Day, it's going to be interesting to see. Which also you don't have to pay for if you have HBO Max. And I'm wondering if
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Wonder Woman is doing theaters and HBO Max Christmas Day, and I wonder if Disney was aware of that beforehand and said, well, if HBO Warner Brothers is putting Wonder Woman out for free if you subscribe to HBO Max, we can't put out a film on Christmas Day that you then have to pay for. And I think what Robert said,
because of agreements with Pixar. Yeah.
different contracts with Pixar as opposed to Disney Studios and Disney Animation. So
Wait, Soul is Pixar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is a great segue into talking about Pixar real quick as well, because to all of this point, Pixar made a couple of announcements too. They are also getting in the television show business on their own
for the first time.
I think it was Pardis was asking about the Monsters at Work show. They didn't talk about that at all. I noticed that too, and I don't know if it's because they didn't want to talk about it because it's not far enough along, or if they've put it on the back burner because maybe it wasn't working.
I'll say with some of the things that they announced, I don't think that was the problem.
No, probably not. But I'm just saying, that could have, because we obviously saw they decided Cars is still a franchise that continues to.
Why?
We'll get to it later, but I'll just say Taika Waititi. So that's definitely not the problem.
Yeah. So Cars.
Taika?
No. But not being far along in production isn't the problem. Taika Waititi.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But so they didn't talk about Monsters. They announced a Cars TV series about Mater and Lightning doing a road trip across the country, which
I actually like Cars and Cars 3, but I would have thought with Johnny L.
Gone
that they would just. But Cars sells a lot of toys, and I think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is it sells a lot of toys, and also Cars came from the Pixar people taking a road trip, so it kind of felt like this was the story of Cars as told by the people who made it. Which is fine. The one that I actually was super excited about, it made me happy. They showed a clip of it, and that was the new Doug Days, which is a spinoff from Up, all about Doug, and they showed a clip from it where he gets to play with puppies, and it was the most adorable thing I've seen in such a long time. Doug Days, made me so hyped.
I want to
work, man.
I want to talk about Win or Lose, which I think is the most exciting of Pixar's television because it's not based on any of their films.
Right.
And I think it's a really fun but also kind of audacious approach for an animated TV show. Basically, it's about a middle school softball team leading up to their championship game. And each episode will take place from the perspective of a different player on the team.
Cool.
Yes.
Which I think is super cool and has so much potential.
It's going to be a so much better version of the slap.
100%.
Well, it's going to be a way.
Yes.
It's going to be a way better
so
version
bad.
of Arrested Development's weird season, for sure.
Maybe.
But I love this,
is
and
exactly right about Cars.
Yes, exactly, and that's exactly it. But to your point, Win or Lose was the one I was super excited about because it was them jumping into original television. I love the idea of telling different versions of the same story from different perspectives. They're so brilliant at Pixar, so them actually jumping into television is a great thing. That's the same way I felt about Walt Disney Animation finally doing television. Like, it's the natural continuation of what they're doing because television right now is at an all-time high.
Robert, can you deal with your brother, please?
Hi, I'm Doug. I love you.
I'm just super excited that they're doing it. Of course, we also saw that they are doing a new movie called Turning Red, which sounded like an adorable take on The Incredible Hulk.
So I can't say that much, but my friend may or may not work at this company, and he is definitely not very excited for Turning Blue.
He's not
Turning Red.
I am purposefully not saying.
Okay.
So this is about a small redhead girl that turns into a giant red panda.
When she's having very awkward moments.
Yeah, and so it's basically the Incredible Hulk with a little girl who turns into a red panda.
It's basically my panic attacks.
You turn into a
I'm not. Yeah, kinda. I mean, when I read the log line, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a visual representation of
favorite Adams
my
twin.
panic attacks.
No, I love it.
Yes, Sean, I'm still here.
I do have a question about the choice of a little white girl turning into a panda.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe
And her name.
Hold
I
on.
saw that.
And
I
her
saw
name
that.
is,
My first thought was like, I wonder if this is going to cause any controversy.
and her name is May, and not spelled like the traditional Anglo.
So maybe, I mean,
Saxon.
Wait,
way.
hold on. But I believe it's an Asian director.
It is. It's the director of Bao.
It is. And to be fair, I'm looking at the one image we've seen, and it's possible that the character is Asian, but she does read to white as me from the one image. But we have to see footage. I could be mistaken, and if I am, I apologize. But
I mean, but
looks
even
like he's being animated by Ardmore with the.
But
way the
even
mouth
then-
is.
even then, I think that while I normally would agree with you if the person in charge of that is Asian and that's their choice of character to fit with the redhead theme, I think it's okay.
I
Clearly-
think the concept is great. I hope it's handled delicately. I think Bao was excellent, so we'll see.
One of the most interesting that came out of this, though, no one was expecting anything like this magnitude. That is that the Toy Story franchise is not as dead or dormant as we thought. Yes, because we are getting a surprising prequel called Lightyear that will be about the Space Ranger that Buzz is actually based on, voiced by none other than Captain America himself, Chris Evans.
Well,
And this is fucking crazy, and I love it.
well, it's
When
weird
you
that
guys see
it's-
one of the Cine Fanatics on screen and the other in the chat, do you kind of feel bad, like the Chatta Fanatic is being punished?
I don't know if I'd call this a prequel.
I mean,
It's
not a prequel
Because
the way
it really
it
it doesn't
was-
have anything
I don't
to do
understand
with
what this
Toy
is.
Story. So
I don't know.
basically,
the way it
so
was
here-
introduced on there is he said that Toy Story, the toy of Buzz Lightyear was based off a big blockbuster movie. We just have never gotten that movie in real life. This is that movie that the toy is based off of.
So Sean, it's a different Buzz Lightyear.
No, I get that,
Guys,
right?
It literally says this is the definitive origin story of the hero that inspired the toy. That is what it says on D23.
I get that, but my big question is, what's the difference between this and we had a Toy Story? We had a Buzz Lightyear animated series at some point, didn't we?
Yes.
But I remember seeing that. So what's the difference between that and this?
Because that was based on the toy. This is not about the toy. This is about the thing that inspired the toy.
Yes.
But is it not? Is it going to be it's a Pixar animated film? It's not like we're getting a live action Buck Rogers.
I'm going to go the Star Wars way, just say the cartoon's not canon.
What we are getting right now is the movie that the Buzz Lightyear toy came from.
No, I understand that. I'm just struggling to understand the difference between this and the cartoon. I understand the cartoon is based on the toy.
No,
but
I don't even think the cartoon is based on a toy. I think it's similar to the way we have Transformers.
There we go. That's the image I needed.
Yeah, we have Transformers movies. We've got Transformers cartoons. Like the same way we get toys for things. They're doing the same thing. They're just doing it inside of Toy Story.
If you had told me that they were going to announce another Toy Story movie today, I would have been skeptical.
Yes.
Then again, I was skeptical about Toy Story 4 and I loved it. However, I think this is such a cool fucking concept.
This movie's going to rock.
Such a unique approach to this character. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. And based on this image and the fact that it's Chris Evans doing the voice, I could not be more excited.
So
I think it's so smart.
So I threw around this crazy idea because obviously it's going to come down to Buzz versus Zurg. Like that's what the movie's going to be. Yeah, that's what the movie's going to be. What if
that's right here?
What if they had a crazy thing where they actually got Hugo Weaving to voice Zurg, and it was literally Cap versus Red Skull in animated form?
That'd be amazing.
That'd be dope.
Except I don't think Hugo Weaving would want to.
No, he wouldn't. But how amazing would that be?
He wouldn't, and then they give him $2 million, and all of a sudden he shows up to the recording booth. So.
I think this is going to be great, but my biggest concern is
Ferris. Donation. Thank you, Ferris. Sorry, Dwayne. Someone gave us money. As the resident Jew, Ferris, I have to be very excited about that.
Stop taking money out of the register.
Now, Ferris.
And Ferris just wanted to say, by the way, hello. Ferris just wanted to say hello.
But I'm curious how they're going to take the campiness out of it, almost.
Who says they are?
Because
I think they are. I think it's
because you could be campy when they were toys.
Yeah, he's not a toy.
But these are no longer toys. These are people that are serious.
I think it's just an animated superhero.
So the interaction between Buzz and Zurg has to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, but my interpretation,
I think there will be humor, but it will be a different kind of humor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay. I don't think it's going to be a lack of humor. I just think it's going to have to be a different type of humor than what we're used to.
I am super don't confuse my confusion with non-excitement of this movie because it's fucking space. I like space.
I'm confused by the confusion that you're confused about.
I just also I have
two other. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say
I like space.
I just want to say I also thought it was just we all know that Tim Allen has his own sets of issues, and I felt like this was a brilliant way of them being like, we want to continue the legacy of this character, and we want to find a way around having it. Because one of the things I noticed about Toy Story 4, in my opinion, was that it was very obvious that Buzz did not have a lot to do. It felt very intentional. And so now they're finding a way around it. And this was their get out of jail free card. And, that just made sense to me. So I couldn't pick anyone better.
I don't think Tim Allen got out of jail for free, though.
He did. He was
someone else to get out of jail.
No, he was a snitch. I mean, it's fine.
Okay. So, but here's ultimately my thing. Like when I think the toy Buzz Lightyear is based on, Buzz Lightyear to me seems like a Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon type of character.
Yeah.
Keep the camp.
I
That's what I'm saying.
think the Buzz Lightyear we know is that type of character.
Yes.
Okay,
He's a
but
toy.
the Buzz Lightyear we know, was a toy in the 90s. Meaning,
But
Sean, you're thinking
but the
in
thing
that
is, but the
world-
thing is again, but like what Jake's saying, the personality of the toy isn't necessarily the personality of the
And
I get-
we have
I
to keep
get
in
that.
mind, in that world, all those toys, they're just like us. They all have different personalities from each other. Not
Right.
every Woody is going to be the same. Not every Buzz
Yeah.
is going to be the same.
I get that. I just
So
I feel like there's a joke in what Jake just said. and I can't find it.
not everybody is the same. No,
That
Let
is
not
Maxwell
about-
talk.
that
Let
is-
some
Maxwell
are
talk.
longer, some are fatter.
At the Pajukan, we support
not about the
all
size of the
Woodies.
Woody, but how you pull the string.
I will say that nice. I will say to
Thank you,
what
my
Bill
dude.
said about it being very Incredibles-esque. I have a feeling it'll be almost Marvel fight.
Yes, I think it'll be Marvel fight.
Yeah.
very hero villain-esque type of
I think
story.
it might be the Marvel version of First Man. Take that for what you will, but that's kind of the
PJ, you just blew my mind.
like. Think about
that
it.
might be.
That picture looks like it.
Yeah,
Maxwell,
that
go
is
ahead.
Max's turn.
Yeah,
So the first thing I find very interesting is they did not at all mention who's writing and or directing it.
yep.
Almost as if they're keeping that as a surprise, and the mind has many exciting ideas. But secondly, imagine the Michael Giacchino score that's going to be written for this movie and how
Oh, yeah.
amazing that's going to be. Because it's not going to be Randy Newman. I would pay, I would go to Vegas and bet right now that Giacchino is going to score this movie,
Yes.
and I think that score is going to be dope as hell.
I
That space
100% agree.
theme, that space theme from him. Fuck.
Sean, you need to have more conversations about your lady.
All
friend.
right. Okay, so I think we get,
Counter. Oh,
Hey, what's up,
What's up,
Goddard?
what's up,
I have
man?
one. I have one quick question. Dwayne mentioned Taika in regards to the.
It's
Monsters.
coming. It's
It's
coming.
coming.
It's unrelated.
cool.
to this. We'll get there.
So let's do this then. Let's fucking jump into some shit. How about this? You guys have been here for 2 hours, right? It's fucking time.
I've been waiting 2 hours.
Do you want me to? Do you want me to start with the reason I said Taika because it's a very quick story.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's start with Star Wars. Let's
Okay.
jump into this. I want to hear
So-
from Dwayne first.
So Sean, what I was referencing is they said Taika Waititi is working on a Star Wars project. Literally all they said. They said he hadn't started working on it. They're just like he's working on something in the future. That's
they
literally
gave us-
what they said.
They gave us an
Like they
interesting
literally
logo,
said he's working on something for Star Wars.
and they gave us a
Oh,
very interesting retro. They gave us
The
a
reason
very,
the reason I
retro
said
logo.
that is because PJ had said maybe they weren't far along enough in
Gotcha.
production to announce
Okay.
it, and I'm like, well, if that was the case, they wouldn't have said nothing about Taika working
Gotcha.
on something in
Which
the
I think is
future.
a good point, Dwayne. for
No,
sure.
you're not wrong. But I did think it was interesting. The only thing we got was Taika's working on it, and here's the logo of what it's going to feel
That logo
like.
is fire, by the way.
Yeah, that logo
What
was.
logo is tied to Taika?
Oh, it's so.
It was Star Wars like in blue, kind of.
I'll see if I can find it for you, Sean. Come on.
Yeah.
It had animated look to it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very interesting. But I really dug this. But we got so much information. It was almost overload how much information we got. We got multiple series. Obviously, the confirmation. The one I want to start with is
Hold
we
on.
finally got.
Before we get to
What?
Star Wars, let's get Willow and Indy out of the way.
Willow's happening and Indy's
John,
happening.
check,
Are you?
check the Twitter.
I mean, it's,
Okay.
yeah.
There's that Children
Yeah,
of Blood,
that's-
Blood
yeah.
and Bone too. That's a new original
That-
based off a book.
Yes, I'm actually
That's a
super
great
excited about
book.
that. But
Great
I
book.
wanna know what that is.
Another, it's
Yeah.
a fantasy novel that also
Ooh,
deals
ooh,
with African culture. It's real
ooh.
good.
Max, did we
Yes,
just
yes,
pick
I-
number
yes,
2 for
I-
Book Nook?
I think that's a great choice. And
Great idea.
I will read that with you.
Done.
I think we did.
Great book.
Okay.
I'd love to read it again.
Yes.
Sean
So-
looks like a deer in the headlights.
Jesus Christ. So
Sean
the
is
only
like,
thing,
Sean is like,
the literally only thing we got is Willow's happening. Fantastic. John M. Chu is directing, and Warwick Davis is coming back. Indy 5 is going to be the last film in the series, and James Mangold is directing.
Mangold.
And then I will say Frank Marshall said something incredibly stupid, in my opinion, is that he said Harrison Ford is the only person who will ever play that character. Therefore, he is.
four other people have played Indiana Jones. Dumb
Yes.
fuck.
And that coming from the producer is like the absolute wrong thing to say. That is
Not
also
one
writing
other
out.
person, not two other people, not
That's
three
also-
other people.
the fact that River Phoenix is literally in Last Crusade nullifies your point. I had a stupid Twitter spat with someone that we all know in this community who just wanted to pick a fight over what I was saying for no
Ooh,
reason.
Is it who I think it is?
Yeah, of course it is.
It was a great Twitter spat, PJ.
It was stupid. It had nothing to do with what I said. The point was that Frank Marshall said something stupid. Other actors have played Indiana Jones. The character can continue once Harrison Ford moves
Do
on.
they also have a problem with the theater industry?
Yes.
Currently?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I think I know who it is.
I think
Yes. Anyway, so that's what we got from that. We move on and we get into Star Wars. The big things, we got the confirmation. We all knew it was happening. The Obi-Wan series is officially a go. Deborah Chow is directing the series. Ewan McGregor's coming back. However, what we did not know.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy
Whoa.
fucking shit.
Don't bury the lead on this one.
Yeah.
Right. Whoa.
No, I know, but that's why you build up to it.
And the thing with the Star Wars announcements was they would announce something and I would go, poof, and then they would top it somehow.
She goes.
By the end, I was a pool of blood and semen.
This announcement was everything I think all of us had been hoping for a while. And it also explains why so many of us had heard this person had been in and out of Lucasfilm for the last couple of years. We all thought it was for the movies. Turned out it wasn't. Hayden Christensen is officially returning to the Star Wars franchise as Anakin Skywalker in what Kathleen Kennedy promised would be the ultimate rematch in cinema.
Well,
and I lost my mind.
She said it's going to be the battle of the century.
Battle of the century. Thank you.
That is more so to me like fucking mind blowing.
Well,
that means that he's not just going to show up, like he's going to be an actual fucking part of the show.
Yeah. And that definitely means that we're going to get the confrontation that we all have been theorizing had happened
from A New Hope.
From A New Hope.
Yep.
And it's so funny because I
get the high ground this time.
I saw a lot of people complaining that this messes with A New Hope. It absolutely
not
does
Obi-Wan,
not.
because Anakin got a lot taller.
And they were like, so the story group just doesn't care about canon. They absolutely do. They don't. This is not messing with canon in any sort of way. And it's not the first time they've done this because Luke and Vader had a confrontation after A New Hope in the comics before they got back to Empire. So this is not the first time that we have added on.
Shame on you.
This was so crazy. I couldn't fucking believe that they were doing it. And just seeing Hayden's name and picture popping up legit gave me chills, man. He deserves it.
He really deserves it. I think it's one of those things, and I'll say this, is a lot of people, and even my sister texted me about this news, and she's like not nearly as plugged in this community as we are. And she was like, well, she's like, Hayden's a bad actor. I'm like, Hayden's not a bad actor.
Hayden is actually a terrific actor.
Yeah.
If you think he's a bad actor, go watch Shattered Glass, in which he gives, in my opinion, a word-worthy performance. Also, Life is a House. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
And I think, you know, we can say what we can and will and have about the writing in Clones and Sith. In Sith, he does a very nice job.
Mm-hmm.
He really does, I think.
He works well with what he's given.
Yep.
So, you know.
I also don't particularly hate Jumper as much as some people.
Oh my god, Jumper.
I love Hayden and Jumper.
I really like Jumper, and I really wish that we could have.
I think he's.
I like Takers also.
Oh yeah, he's really good in Takers too.
Absolutely.
Can we do a Jumper watch along?
Yes,
sure.
I think it's.
I wish there was a sequel because it kind of ends with.
I wish there was. Also, Jamie Bell in that movie.
I think we can now say for sure the Pachuca Network stands Hayden Christensen.
I also think it was. I also think it was great that in Sith he was like, no one else is gonna wear that armor.
Yeah.
I'm wearing that. So he's like, you're not gonna make me Darth Vader and not let me put the armor on. Get the fuck out of here.
Now he really gets to even more. I love that.
Like such vindication for the last 15 years.
Yes.
Both as a fan and also just as a human being, and knowing the shit I'm confident Hayden has gone through. I think it's really nice, and to see how pretty much universally enthusiastic people are by this announcement is really, really nice.
I think the last thing Disney needs to do in terms of making things right with Anakin Skywalker is they need to do something for Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
They have to.
I think he's actually stepped away from acting now.
I'm sure he has. But he was treated so poorly as a human being.
Jingle All the Way too.
Did you know
I think out of everyone in Star Wars history, he was treated the most unfairly.
Yeah,
Jar
both
Jar
Anakin.
over Jar Jar?
No,
No,
both
Ahmed
Anakin.
Best.
Everyone. Let's be real. Almost every one of the actors in the prequels that the fans didn't like was treated badly, especially Jake,
Except you.
because he was a kid.
I
He was a kid.
But that's the thing. I think, although Ahmed Best was not treated great for Jar Jar, his face was not Jar Jar. Like, he was not seen.
Yeah,
on
that's
screen.
fair.
Right,
And
whereas,
in the hate that Jake Lloyd got for Phantom Menace was not deserved. Well, yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think we're getting Jake Lloyd back.
Yeah.
I will say,
if I could dream, I would figure out
Also,
something.
having rewatched Phantom pretty recently, I don't think he's that bad at all.
No, I don't think he is.
I think he's very childlike.
Mando isn't starting yet. We still have an hour, Chris.
Yeah, an hour.
real quick about the Hayden Christensen stuff. Is anybody else freaking out about the fact that we could be getting flashbacks to the Clone Wars?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That too.
Like, could you imagine
I think we absolutely will.
a live action version of their stuff from the Clone Wars?
And with Rosario firmly as Ahsoka could be. I mean,
like,
forget it.
That's all I care about.
Oh my god!
Tamura hanging out as Rex.
Oh my god!
Clockwise.
We could get flashbacks with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
and Vader.
That's what.
Yeah, that's what
Dwayne, it's happening. Dwayne, it's happening.
It just,
It's happening.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I just said though?
No,
Yes,
it
it
wasn't.
is.
I'm sorry. My mind
Dwayne
was
was
going.
processing.
Yeah, my mind was going.
I
was
love
not
watching
listening.
Dwayne's
Yes.
mind literally.
There it is.
Yes.
Robert, what about you? You haven't really
Oh,
chimed in yet. How did you feel about this? Like, were you as hyped as the rest of us?
I was like actually amazed that they're bringing back Darth Vader, and then the fact that they got Hayden Christensen, because the thing is at this point Darth Vader is completely encased in the suit. Theoretically, it doesn't really matter who's in the costume underneath. We're not going to really see it except for maybe one of those times where they take off the helmet. I'm guessing they're using the voice and stuff, but other than flashbacks like we're talking about.
Don't disrespect David Prowse like that. It matters who's in the suit.
Absolutely.
I do think there's a high possibility we see Vader without the helmet on now that
I
he's
do.
Hayden.
Right. I think we will
that
see
we are
Vader-
going to see a messed up Vader in this series.
Yeah, I think so.
I
too.
also.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if we'll ever get
if
this.
they're going to put Hayden
But
Christensen in it.
what if we also got flashbacks to Malachor?
Oh my god!
And we got to see that fight in live action.
Don't get me
started.
And some
Oh
Brian
my
makes a good
God.
point in the comments. We could see Natalie Portman back in flashbacks.
Yeah. Anton, I don't think we're gonna ever see Ashley in live action.
I have something I want to say that I'm not
Okay.
going to say for political purposes.
Okay.
No.
Hey, Bador. But seriously, so this was awesome. And then outside,
I think we're in a similar mind, Max, and there's also someone coming or a series later that it's going to be a problem.
Okay, so
and I
let's
agree
get that,
with this.
let's get
Actually,
that
Hayden's
one.
gonna. They're gonna have like a. They are gonna look at each other. There's gonna be like whatever their fight is. It is not gonna be what we're thinking it is.
He's gonna say,
be one
"Look
of
what
the
you did
greatest
to me."
moments
Just
in Star Wars
imagine that in live
Oh
action.
my god,
Yeah.
Dwayne,
Yeah.
Dwayne, I want to see
He is
Vader.
going to say, "Look
Take
at
the
what
helmet
you
off.
did to me."
Yeah,
That's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Yep.
100%.
100%.
That is 100% what's gonna happen.
Oh.
And I can't wait until we film our inevitable reaction video where we're like, just like we're having like cum
Sobbing?
splattering on our camera.
Because I guarantee that one of the things we learned
Sorry,
is that
I can't stop crying and coming.
one of the one of the things we're gonna learn is that through Order 66, that one of the people that Vader knows Obi-Wan's still out there, and he is looking for him, no matter what. And I also think that Vader going back to Tatooine is very interesting.
I think we finally have an understanding of what this show is going to be, and it's fucking thrilling.
I am. Look, for a long time, people have been saying, you know, there's no way that you can have Vader and Obi-Wan face off because no, there's so many fucking clues in the original trilogy that they had another face off.
Wait, Sean, put on your glasses, please. Professor time.
Yes, please.
Continue.
Go on.
Vader says Obi-Wan once thought as you did. There is no scene in Revenge
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. There is no scene in Revenge of the Sith where Obi-Wan once
He
thought
felt it was he could redeem.
Yeah. He said Obi-Wan wants
ain't
to
going
fucking-
nowhere.
Yeah.
And by the end of time, we'll have like 5,000 followers. It'll
Anyway.
We have so much to talk
So-
about with just this
Okay.
show alone.
I know. So there's so much we
Yeah.
had to fucking break down. We got to keep going. But the other one we knew it was coming was Cassian's series, which rightfully
Okay,
is
I
just
want to pull up this comment, and I don't mean to diss anyone, but I just want to say I disagree with it. Where was it? It was a while ago. I disagree with this. I'm really excited for the Andor series.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love Rogue
super
One.
right, and that's kind of what
I think Diego Luna is a great actor. There's so much
I
that we can
want
do here
to see.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was gonna
No,
say. I
go-
just wanted. Max, go.
No,
go.
I
I will
insist.
go.
Wait, go.
I want
I
to see
just
the
wanna-
desperate. Stop it! I just want to see the desperation of the rebellion.
that's exactly that's what I wanted to get
Exactly
into.
what I was
So
going to say. I want to see the nitty gritty of the rebellion, and I think we'll see some real like Star Wars spy shit, which is going to be awesome.
And
you know-
that's something I wanted to point out is that the reason why The Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU film is because of the grounded spy thriller take.
Me too.
Like it's so real life, and that's kind of what I get from this series.
I think it's going to be real ground level shit.
Real ground level, yeah. That's
you
a better way of
think
saying it. I think
guys
that there's a
think
real possibility it could become something that we've never seen, like a heightened version of Rogue One in a way.
That's what I was
Say that
going to
again,
ask.
Dave.
Like, do you think they build to it? Do you think that's where they wind up going? Whatever this is,
It
winds
depends on
up
where it
going.
takes place. I think it depends on because we know that it's gonna show a lot of Cassian's origin, which is Clone Wars stuff, very early on. But we know that at the very beginning of Rogue One, this guy's like the pure spy of spy. Like he'll kill anybody. And then
Hold
throughout
on.
the film-
The trailer.
exactly.
Everything
And-
I did for the rebellion.
exactly. So
That
throughout
one
the
scene
film,
early
he
on in Rogue
changes.
One,
And I
when
think
he's in the alley.
yes,
when he kills Tivik.
yes.
It alone has me excited for what the show can be.
And
how
that's what I'm getting at.
awesome-
Like, I think this show is going to show a very different side of Cassian. It's going to be a
Well,
lot
I think
darker.
it's arguable that Jin softened him.
100%. But I think Diego Luna, from what we've seen of his career so far, he fits that role very well. I
Mhm.
love that the fact that it's Tony Gilroy doing this series.
Who sort of saved Rogue One. From
Yes,
what
he
we
did.
Did we all
know.
see the sizzle?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the way that like
Let me tell you, Diego Luna.
he's a-
sizzle.
yeah.
More
He's
thighs,
sizzle.
more thighs.
I'm with you
Gotcha.
there. Can I
Thank you, Engineer
thank you,
Chris.
Chris Clark? Can I just say,
This is not anxiety inducing at all.
We got to be at Marvel
We
by
need
30.
it.
Yeah.
we need it. The respect.
Good luck
the
with that.
respect that the
Oh shit, Bador. Oh shit.
Oh, God.
Could you
I don't think we'll get that.
What if
I don't
what
think
if
we'll get
Obi-Wan killed all? No.
Look,
that. I don't think we'll
What
get that.
if Sarah Michelle Gellar got to do live action star? Oh,
Oh, dude.
Oh my
Ooh.
Oh, my
god.
God.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
Okay,
Alright.
so
Okay.
so
Sure.
Too much.
I just want to bring up one thing with Andor before we move it on. Two things actually. The fucking logo is sweet with
Yes, I
the
agree.
new take on the starboard.
Yep.
But the respect that the production crew is showing to this, that we see in that sizzle reel, where they're showing the slow process of making all of those fucking alien masks and all the sets. They're fucking making a Star Wars movie and putting it in live action, or putting it in on a series. As much as The Mandalorian pays huge respect and budget and homage, The Mandalorian is using the
tech.
what's it,
later.
The volume.
The volume.
the volume. Thank you.
Night artist.
This
Very part of
this feels a lot more like they're making a live action sets and props for Star Wars movie, more so than The Mandalorian is.
Yeah.
I'll say though, they did say they're using the same tech.
I get that.
They are.
I get that. But just seeing what we see in that sizzle
There's a lot more
makes me
aliens
so
in this.
fucking exciting.
So
I also I don't know if you guys all read
Catalyst.
Twilight Company.
Oh
No,
yeah,
I have. Yes, I love it.
I wanted a show about the
Mhm.
Twilight Company
Yep.
so bad.
I want that. Yeah,
and this makes me if this goes the way I think it's going to go, it's going to make me want that show even more.
I don't think it will. I think this will be a bit more espionage than.
No,
It's gonna be so much
I mean the level of like depth and
100%.
darkness
Okay,
and how like
fair.
nitty and gritty, because the Twilight Company ain't a happy story.
Oh,
The
Bador,
name
that's such a good
Andor.
point.
Cassian Andor.
Bador, that is such a good
I know
point.
that's what I would look. I want to get through. We have so little time.
Real quick, Cassian, we're gonna see Hera in live action.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, I fucking hope so.
I also
Um,
I think that we're going to see a lot of stuff that we like. There's going to be a lot of tie-in.
Max
and I
is
think
like, stop blowing my mind.
I think Ahsoka. I
And his
think
pants.
Well,
Stop
I'm
blowing his
also-
pants.
I'm also pretty tipsy now, and I keep remembering in like 7 hours
Hey,
I'm moving to a different home.
Gu- guys, I would like to give a toast to Star Wars. I know everyone's got an alcohol, and if you
I don't have
you're not
alcohol.
really
I
on the
don't. I've got
Pajokin.
I
a
do.
little bit of water.
To the
Then you
Pajokin.
aren't really on
I've
the
already
Pajokin.
finished it.
Toast to the Pajokin.
L'chaim, bitches.
L'chaim.
Toast to our mutual love of Star Wars,
True life.
Disney,
True
Marvel.
life. L'chaim.
Guys, we're only through 2 of these.
Okay.
announcements.
I know.
So-
But
I
we
don't
can
have
move through a
much
lot of
to
them a
say
lot
about
faster because there's
So,
not a lot
Ahsoka.
of info.
Let's talk about Ahsoka, because as much as
We knew Ahsoka spinoff
You-
was
Sorry,
happening.
Pat.
Moving on.
You have literally cut me. I have not.
I'm
gotten
sorry.
God damn. Fuck. Move on.
Welcome to the
no.
Sean Sullivan Network.
I'm trying.
Listen, say what you're gonna say, or shut up,
No.
PJ.
You all literally cut me off before I could talk about literally anything about Andor. Like you
We
literally
have
stepped on what I was
46
saying.
minutes and
Yeah, I
41,
know.
40, 39. You're wasting time.
We
with
still have
your-
40 shows to cover.
Oh fuck. Move.
Literally.
PJ, your
We
thoughts
haven't
on
got the
Cassian?
Marvel yet. Oh, my voice
Nope.
cracked.
All right. Anyway, the thing I was gonna say, so we could jump into the next one, is that I think Ahsoka's in every one of these series. We're gonna see her at different parts of the timeline with these characters, which leads to this next one, which is Ahsoka, which was officially announced today, as well as the New Republic show. And this is the one that is very interesting because I think this one has been retooled a lot behind the scenes, which is why we didn't learn much about who's in it.
Do you think this is supposed to be Cara Dune's show, but they might not bring
Yes.
her
Yes,
over?
100%.
100% thought that was.
I want to address this real quick before I move on to that. I think 100% Bo-Katan will stay in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I think Bo-Katan is going to be an important factor in the endgame / overarching arc
Sure.
of the next 1 to 2 seasons of the show.
Yeah.
But she might also pop up on Ahsoka.
Very possible.
Yeah.
The first thing that I thought when I saw Rangers of the New Republic is, God damn it, they're doing a Cara Dune show. I don't think Disney's dumb enough
I
to
don't
do
think that's
that.
going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it'll be the Rangers still, but it'll be about different characters.
I
agree
do
100%.
too.
Because I thought that this is going to be like their police procedural Law
Yes.
and Order in
Yes.
space. Basically.
And I want them to bring back I can't remember the actor from Kim's Convenience, who we've seen twice now.
Yes.
I think he's awesome. He'd be a great, if not lead, co-lead for the show.
I think that's 100% what it's going to be, actually, and
It's
I think
also-
that's what's important.
I was gonna say it's also one of those things where it's not even necessarily like you have to really. It can still be Cara Dune. They can easily recast her and just move on. Like Marvel does it very easily with Don Cheadle. Like you just put in a new actor, be like, I'm here, let's move on.
Yeah, Marvel fans, I think, are going to be a little bit more forgiving of that than Star Wars fans.
I mean, literally, because to that point, like, remember, instead of recasting Tarkin, they literally use CGI over an actor to make him look like Peter Cushing.
They can just pivot away. They can honestly just
Yeah.
pivot away from
I think
Cara.
they're going to pivot away.
They can just
I-
leave her on Navarro. They can leave her on Navarro.
Yeah,
well,
because
because I'm because we don't really have a
Pivot.
great understanding of what the Rangers are.
I've got a pretty good assumption. I've got a pretty.
So I mean, the Rangers might be like the Marshals might be part of the Ranger Corps or division or whatever you want to call it. So, they don't
Sean.
necessarily need.
Sean, all I'm
Dude,
saying is I don't want to hear your theory without those glasses on. Fuck your theory. Put the glasses on. Do it. Yes.
like
give me
But I
that
don't
theory.
think Cardoon will be in this series at all.
Give me that theory, Daddy.
I agree 100% with Dwayne, and I think that's
Sean the theory daddy.
because I saw Pardis bringing it up, and he's like, the other thing is like you can't be mad that she keeps showing up in stuff that she was clearly cast in before all this happened. And I know Pardis gets very upset, and so I don't want to call him out, but you also have to accept that this all happened before she was like after she was cast is when all this happened. So we have to get through the stuff that was already shot. You can't change that at this point. We have to.
It makes me wildly uncomfortable too, and I find what she's done and said very upsetting.
Absolutely.
But
she's
the
not gonna
reality
be-
is.
Yeah.
The reality is what's happened has happened. I think the title is vague enough that they're able to pivot
I agree.
and still do a lot of fun stuff. However, if they do toy with the idea of recasting, the perfect choice is Jamie Alexander.
Oh my God,
Yes,
Matt, you just
100%.
read my fucking mind.
Didn't we do this whole thing on
Yes, we
the
did.
water cooler the other week?
We did.
My prediction for this show, I think we're gonna definitely focus on Carson, and hopefully we're gonna get some Trapper. The announcement here mentions that this is another Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni show.
Yes. And
So
Ahsoka as well.
Sean, I don't know if you know this. All three of the
Mando.
Rangers, Ahsoka, and Mandalorian.
And Mando are all John
All
and
at the
Dave.
same time
They're,
as well.
No,
They're at the
they're all
same
going to
time.
cross over.
Yeah,
Yes.
they said that
They're
it's
gonna-
going to culminate
yeah.
in the event.
They're
They're
going
all
to do an
Star
MCU.
Wars shows.
They're going to do an MCU style event that they all cross over into one another.
Oh, so
Yes.
that will be either
So
the
I-
reach of Mandalore or
That's
defeating
exactly what I
Thrawn
think is
or
going to happen. I think
Okay.
it's going to be the taking of Mandalore back from Gideon or the Empire, whoever's there.
Yeah.
And it's
Cool.
going to be Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, the Rangers, all of them together versus.
I did not see that.
I think that it was clearly set up in the last episode with Boba seeing the Empire return, and I think that's
Yes.
going to be the
Yes.
crux of everything.
So, yeah,
and
well,
obviously Thrawn.
So
Uh,
that leads me to believe that the Rangers and Ahsoka are just a one-season spinoff.
Yes.
Or the
I-
or
I
they,
don't-
or
okay
they
with
could do
that.
it. They could do it like
I don't.
Arrowverse, where like every season they end up having like crossover
Oh,
episodes.
please,
I-
no.
I don't.
think-
Yeah,
no, no, no.
I don't think we're gonna
that.
get that. I think it's pretty safe to say the majority of these series
Are
are
limited
one
series.
season
Agreed.
and
Agreed.
they're one and dones.
Agreed.
agree.
Because they're taking what they could have done as trilogies or something, doing it as 6 to 8 episodes, get it through, do the story you need to do, and you can move on. And I think that's the best way.
The ones that are further out, those are the ones that we could be looking at as potentials to be replacing the Mandalorian when
I agree.
that story has finished.
Right.
One in particular that's I've got a really good theory about.
I think
Well,
I know the one you're talking about, and holy shit, the possibilities.
Yes, the
So-
possibilities.
Sean, why are you so fucking sexy?
So
Uh,
Why does everyone agree?
Woof.
PJ, segue.
I don't know.
Segue.
That was
Yeah,
that
so I
was
was
the segue. The segue is why is Sean so hot?
No, so to segue into that, obviously one of the things that we also got was the Acolyte. That is one of the bigger announcements of
Oh,
this
God
High Republic
damn.
series that I'm
Holy
super
shit.
excited about.
I think this is the one Dwayne was talking about.
Yeah, no, it was, and I
it
knew
is.
exactly where he was going. So
It is,
Oh my god.
and I think we might be looking at Darth Bane and the establishment of the rule of two,
I'm thinking Plagueis.
Ooh.
or
Yeah.
Plagueis.
Yeah,
But
oh,
I think that it is going to be one of the massive Sith lords
Yes.
that we've heard about, and
So-
I've leaned more towards Darth Bane just because of the title.
sure.
But I think Plagueis.
I
Plagueis. I
You'll
think
see a
Plagueis
young
is definitely
Palpatine.
valid.
The
I think
young-
Plagueis is
only-
definitely valid.
Younger Yoda.
The only reason why I would argue against Bane is because they told us that it's set towards the end of the High Republic, and that would put it closer to the prequel trilogy, which puts Plagueis closer to Palpatine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And that's why
That's
I kind of are. And I would much rather have Bane. I think that'd be fucking
Yeah,
sick.
but what's the timeline of the High Republic now?
It's
Like, I'm
200
so
years
lost
before the
on-
prequel. It's 200
Okay.
years
Yeah,
before the prequel.
so Plagueis doesn't add up timeline wise, most likely. We don't know for
Well,
sure, but most likely.
according to the Wikipedia, the end of the High Republic is like 81 years before the establishment
Yes.
of the
So-
Galactic
so maybe
Empire.
Plagueis adds up.
And again,
so we
yeah,
could have Plagueis.
Yeah, so
yeah. So
Plagueis-
what we know of the High
or
Republic-
maybe it's the young Palpatine, and
That's what I was saying. It would be Plagueis
That's-
would be training the young
We
Palpatine.
I personally
We could
don't
do
want to
this
see
all day.
Palpatine.
We could
With
finally
a-
get Matt Smith as young Palpatine.
Yeah, I was gonna say Matt Smith
But-
finally gets his role.
Just imagine Sam Witwer as Darth Bane.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that contradicts that.
But when
All right,
we
so-
get Matt Smith as young Palpatine, do we get to see him fuck?
What if? Okay,
All right.
here's my thing.
We gotta keep going. We got
Sean, say what you're gonna say, and then TJ take it.
I think this is going to be something completely unrelated. I don't think it will be a character we know. I think it will be a new character and a new storyline.
I'll say that
I
it's.
mean, it might be. I'm just thinking of the possibilities
I
because that's
hope
all
it-
we have right now are possibilities.
I hope it's just a dark side user that is nothing related to the Sith.
um,
Because the logo was slashed by a saber in the video logo.
Yeah,
So it's clearly about some kind of dark side user. I just hope it. I don't want to see the Sith. I'd rather it just be something completely different.
the term acolyte to me makes me think that it's not, because if it were a Sith, it would be called the Apprentice, not
Yes,
the acolyte.
acolyte is
Acolyte has
completely-
very
but
different.
that's exactly why I said maybe it's prior to the rule of two.
Potentially.
maybe acolyte turns into apprentice, which is very possible.
and maybe Lando is about both the young and old version of Lando telling a
Look at
story.
that segue.
Of how,
Actually,
Segue like a champ right there.
I think you're 100%
I do
correct
too.
on that one.
I do too. I think we're gonna get both Billy D. Williams be the end of Rise of Skywalker, and also have Donald Glover back. And I think we're also probably gonna get to finally see Han and Chewbacca, played by Alden once again. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hey Liz, it's good to see
Liz.
you. I am super excited about this. Does anyone have any major thoughts on Lando?
I think we're also going to get the journey with what is her name? Jaina? Was that her name?
Yes.
From Rise of
what's her name?
Skywalker?
Yes.
I think
Jonna, yeah.
Jonna. I think that's what we're going to get with
Yes.
this.
Oh, that's cool.
I think Lando will be telling her his story
I
as
agree
they
100%.
journey through the galaxy to
Do you think she's his daughter?
no.
No.
Oh God, I hope not.
I hope so.
I hope not too, because
I don't want the
having-
only two.
Well,
Right,
also,
exactly,
wasn't
exactly.
she also
A
former
stormtrooper.
stormtrooper?
She was a
So
former stormtrooper.
But
Yeah,
she didn't
so
know
she
her
would've-
family. She was
Yeah,
kidnapped or something.
This is
But
you know,
she would've
I
not
would
been
love
anywhere
to see Crimson
near-
Dawn.
Well,
I'm
So-
you're
not
down.
wrong.
So
Love
Lando had said in Solo that he actually had a run-in with Crimson Dawn, or he did a job for Crimson Dawn. And I'm starting to think that we might see a bit of that
I'm
Well,
Yeah, I'm
in
hoping
this
this
show.
is more of the Donald Glover Lando.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's more Donald Glover than anything.
Well,
But
I think we're going
I'm
to see
predicting
both.
this will be.
Like, I think
Yeah.
Donald Glover is going to be the catalyst of it. Like, he's who we're going to see, but I think you're also going to see Billy D. Williams,
Yeah.
which is going to be interesting because we don't do a lot of flashbacks as
Yeah.
far as Star Wars is concerned.
I think every episode is going to open with a Billy D
That was my question.
voiceover or
Is it at the
start.
framework? Yeah,
Yeah,
like
and
is it just
it'll
Billy D
cut to
campfire
the
stories?
story back to Donald Glover.
And this is not
cut
the
back
first
at
time
the end,
Lucasfilm would have
Billy.
done that because, real quick, Sean, I'll call on you in a second.
Yeah.
This is not the first time that Lucasfilm has done this because the Indiana Jones Chronicles
Max, put your
was
fucking
built
hand
that
down.
way. Like the Indiana Jones Chronicles were built around an older version of Indy telling the stories about a younger version of Indy. So every episode was bookended. I will go over to Maxwell because he left his hand up, unlike Sean, who was an idiot and put it down. Maxwell, how can I help you?
You told him
Can I
to put it down.
get a hall pass, you fuck?
Yes, absolutely.
No, wet
Um,
yourself.
I think this will take place after Solo,
I tend to agree with
so I don't think that we'll see the Crimson Dawn job. I would like to see Billy telling this story to his daughter,
Oh,
because
Crimson Dawn.
we know that Lando has a daughter, and he was looking for her at the end of Rise of Skywalker. I would like this to be set 10 years after Rise or 5 years after Rise, after he's found his daughter, and then we could fill in how he finds his daughter later. But
I would. I mean, I like that, but I would rather he's telling
I agree
to
with
Jana
because that's
while
what
they're
we
both
had.
on the journey.
Oh.
So while you have the journey,
oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
Yeah, so while they have the journey of Lando's past, you have the older Lando with Janna going on the journey to find his daughter and her home.
Cool.
And her
I'm into
future.
that.
So him looking back while helping her look forward. I think it's
The
brilliant juxtaposition.
Just as
Simon,
long as it's framed around that, I'm into it.
Sean,
Yeah.
the only thing I think you're doing a disservice if you do it after the events of Solo is you don't get Phoebe Waller-Bridge back, and I think that's a crime.
That's the crime.
Yeah.
That's
That
a
is
crime.
a
This is
crime.
the
And
best
also-
idea I've heard yet, by the way.
I will say it would also be it'll be a crime if we don't bring up Star Wars Visions, which is an anime style story about one-off
I'm so
stories
here.
in the Star Wars
So here
universe.
for this.
This was such a great announcement.
That looked like the Animatrix, kind of
Yeah.
how the way the Animatrix
Yep,
did
that's
that.
exactly what I
that's what I
thought
felt
about
of that.
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
What also wanted us to notice, there's not a lot we can talk about with that, was the Bad Batch came out with a trailer that was really, really great, which had I watched it again. It was badly placed within what they were doing because you went from Obi-Wan to Bad Batch and it was like, what the fuck? What I didn't realize my second watch through is Fennec is in it.
Yep.
So that's a very
Yep.
so I was excited about that. Does anyone have any thoughts on Bad Batch?
It looks way better than I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just ready
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah,
Great.
Sure.
Same.
Great. With that, there's really only one last thing. There was a droid story one that's going to be more aimed at kids. I don't
PJ,
have-
excuse me. Rogue fucking Squadron.
That's what I was getting
that's
at.
what we're going.
That's
Doing
what
that
I
last,
was going
Jake.
to. God damn.
It was a crescendo.
It was. I was literally
Forget about that shit.
fucking.
It was a
We're nothing but
crescendo.
professional
fucking
here,
guy.
Griffin.
Anyway, so what happened was
Most
they decided.
professional show on the
Yeah.
internet.
So they decided that the droid show was a thing that they would announce, and that's great and everything. It's for kids. I don't have anything to say on it. What I do have something to say on is Patty fucking
that.
Jenkins, who did Wonder Woman, who's doing Wonder Woman 1984, is coming
Oscar.
into the Star Wars universe. Holy fucking shit! We are getting a Rogue Squadron movie.
And
That-
her
repeat.
announcement video.
Honestly, this is one of, if not one of the best announcement videos I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
With the rollerblades and
It was so
It-
fucking amazing. The power and energy she has, the story she told, how she tied it in personally about her father. It was honestly, I watched it 3 times and was like on the verge of tears. It was just so beautiful. And then the title treatment and the fact that she said she wants it to be the greatest like aerial fight movie of all time.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Dude, we've all wanted Rogue Squadron so bad. I lost my fucking mind when they announced
Unbelievable.
it.
What
When
I
I realized what this was gonna be, I was like,
want
it's going to be
so-
Top Gun Star Wars.
I was just gonna say I want Top Gun Star
Yeah.
Wars. That's all.
I just want to know, do we get Wedge as Viper?
100%.
Yes.
100%
Oh, yeah,
we
Wedge
get Wedge
Antilles.
as Viper.
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well, it depends when it's set. It depends when it's set.
Glasses.
I mean,
Sean.
he's
Glasses.
gonna be.
Glasses.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think this is gonna be pre
Come on, Theory Daddy.
Jedi. This is
Go on.
100% gonna be post Jedi.
yes.
Go on.
So it depends when it sets. Because it is
This
set.
is also
because we have
Disney's
some-
biggest fuck you to Warner Brother.
Yeah,
because
it
we
was.
have a few conflicting things with Wedge in the Aftermath trilogy. He's kind of sort of retired from piloting.
seconds.
Yeah.
In the but in Squadrons, he's very much an active pilot. So I hope we get Wedge, but I think we're kind of
15
going to get
seconds.
Wedge in the chair more than in the pilot seat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's Viper.
10 seconds.
He's
Okay.
he's the instructor. because what we're thinking is this is going to be like almost
1
a
second.
Top Gun Flight Academy.
All
type
right,
thing.
and moving on. We got to jump into the MCU, guys. We got a half an hour till the Mandalorian. Sorry, dude. Finish and then we'll.
no, I was just
I
saying
also,
like it's very
Please
much going to
wait.
be like a Flight Academy type thing. So I
Yes,
think he's going to be the
100%.
instructor bringing on new recruits to Rogue Squadron. and he's going to be the grizzled vet.
I feel confident this will be the case with Patty at the helm. I very much want a strong woman lead
Yes.
character.
I was
think
thinking-
that's 100%.
that's exactly what I was going towards. That's what I
Um,
want. I want that too.
And I think she is going to have her absolute pick of any actor and actress she wants to work with. Everyone will want to sign up for this movie.
I'm
I
just
mean,
I also wonder because Pedro Pascal is in Wonder Woman 2 if he helped set up some of the meetings with Lucasfilm.
something that I don't want to talk about now, but we can talk about it on our Mando after show. Who everyone's top pick for lead in this is?
Okay.
Uh, I don't know about actress, but I know about the character that I'd like to see
We'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
All right.
redeemed.
So this is the last Tarzan. Jesus Christ. All right. So we have to look into this. Jesus Christ, they waited and gave us the best for last, which is crazy when you think of all the Star Wars stuff we got too.
All of it.
And
But
it's
the
crazy that I
MCU
agree with you.
This is crazy. So I'm gonna speed through the biggest parts of the or some of the smaller parts of the announcements, just because there's other stuff to really jump into. One of the greatest things that we found out was Secret Invasion is officially a series that's going to be on Disney Plus.
Hell yeah.
Nick Fury is the lead.
That's
am
not
super
small.
excited.
Yeah, this isn't small at all.
This ain't small at all.
I got some.
But we
thoughts
don't
on
know
that one,
anything
baby.
about it, really.
You're not going to get the time. You're not
All
going
right.
to meet that countdown.
Yeah.
Just
Go
accept
ahead,
it.
jump on it then.
No, I'm
I would
just like,
actually
this
say,
is-
I
this
would
is-
actually say first thing is the MCU was the only one that when they had footage to show, we all got to see it.
Yes.
There wasn't
Yeah.
any MCU
Facts.
footage
Yeah.
hidden from us.
But I will say this is not small because I think this is going to. This tells us where
Yes, I agree with this.
phase 5 phase 5 is phase 4.
Phase
sorry.
4 and 5.
I think
Phase
this
4?
is 4 and 5. I think
So
it's together.
phase 4 right now is very much phase 1 of what we
Yes.
know to be the MCU. This tells us where phase 5 and phase 6 is
Yes.
going to end up.
Yes.
We are going to Secret Wars.
Yes.
I 100%.
It's
100% we are
big
going to
thing in the
Secret
MCU.
Wars.
And I'll say
Yes.
this too. They did the one thing that everyone was saying they weren't really high on doing origin stories anymore as movies. Do them as TV shows and bring those characters into the movies so that we can continue
Right.
which was brilliant.
So, and
Which-
to that point, we're getting a Miss Marvel series.
Yep.
Kamala
Yes.
Khan, and they announced today that Kamala Khan will be in Captain Marvel 2.
And I
Yep.
also think I know what Captain Marvel 2 is because of Secret Invasion. I believe it's Secret Empire.
Yep.
I believe that
Yep.
we are going to see the continuation of that pulled through
Yes.
to what Dwayne is saying.
If there's anything we've seen so far from like rumors and announcements, it's that multiple movies and projects are like these small trilogy stories.
Yes.
WandaVision,
100%.
Doctor Strange, Spider-Man 3 are all kind of connected.
Well, I love that they finally act like we've all theorized, and it's been clear that they said outright Doctor Strange leads right into Spider-Man.
Yes, and
And
what I'm getting at is-
WandaVision is going to
Yeah.
lead right into Doctor Strange. We can theorize that Wanda's going to break reality, hence the multiverse of madness.
I
where
think they
Doctor
gave a
Strange-
little bit too much away in the footage today.
I don't disagree with you, which makes
I-
me curious.
I think
about
there's
what
a little
we'll get.
part of the VO that gave just a little bit too much away.
But this was awesome. I was really glad to see that. The other two, again, speaking to what we were just saying of two shows that are clearly going to go together that lead to bigger things, Ironheart and Armor Wars.
Armor
Two,
Wars!
which is huge. Don Cheadle
Woo!
coming on hot, but
yeah.
also, I mean, come on. Like, I didn't think we were ever going to get this, but Dominic Thorne getting to be Ironheart is brilliant casting. They're casting young. They're casting out of the box, and I love it.
She
So
looks
I
exactly,
think
she looks
that the-
exactly like Riri.
I think the best part of Ironheart is once again an intelligent black woman
Yep.
is the smartest person
I agree.
in the room. I am
Can-
so here for it.
Can I say, I don't know if anyone did it feel like Disney really, at least to me, I don't know, maybe I'm overlooking it, but it felt like they really threw down a gauntlet for once, and they were finally like, we're going to tell diverse stories, and we're going to put people that we have seldomly put in front and center.
Well,
and center.
the thing I
being
What?
opposed
go ahead.
promoter MCU.
It was just because even in the animation front, it felt like with them being like Moana and Tiana, we're going to get series. I just thought it was interesting because it's not something that we've all criticized them for that, right?
Well, the thing with the Marvel though is like these characters, these shows, these were established in comics first. This was Marvel being diverse first, and now they're being brought on. Disney's not really doing anything except just bringing over what Marvel's already established.
Well, I don't
But
think
it's
he's talking.
working. It's working within what they're trying.
I'm more
to do.
meaning on.
Well,
like,
yeah, he's talking about the creative team because look
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
like Miss Marvel. You have an entire Muslim creative team.
Oh yes, absolutely.
like
that's-
the
yeah.
entire
100%.
team.
100%.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
We're not looking behind the camera and seeing a whole bunch of Caucasians.
white people. Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
the fact that we have a woman directing a Star Wars movie finally, it's a long time coming.
Yeah,
Too
right.
late, but better late than never. And yeah, Deborah Chow is doing Obi-Wan, and we've had women direct Mandalorian, which has been great. But to have a huge budget live action Star Wars film directed by a woman, awesome. And we're seeing with the choices they're making for these shows that they're doing it the right way. They are having people tell stories that'll be authentic to them. It's not just white dudes telling stories like I was talking about with Shogun earlier that they don't know anything about.
Same thing with She-Hulk. She-Hulk has a whole
She-Hulk.
female team behind it.
And I know that Dwayne and I both caught this.
Shang-Chi, like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great point. Great
Yep.
point.
And with She-Hulk, because they did officially announce She-Hulk is happening, and
Mhm.
we got Tatiana
Tatiana
Maslany.
Dude.
And I know that we're getting Abomination back, which was great,
Awesome.
and we're getting Mark Ruffalo. But did anyone else catch?
Yes.
Someone else
Yes.
is going to
Mhm.
appear.
He ain't gonna be in Spider-Man,
he said-
folks.
He said that it takes place in a courtroom, so who knows what other characters
Oh.
could show up. Yeah,
And-
we're getting
Yep.
Daredevil.
He ain't
might be
gonna
in
be in
both.
Charlie
Spider-Man.
Cox, baby.
He might be in both.
He might be, but I don't think that he
More
was gonna be in
so
Spider-Man.
She-Hulk. More so
I think he was
Yeah.
always going to be in She-Hulk, and
Yeah.
people just got so behind Spider-Man because
Yep.
they forgot about She-Hulk and what she is.
It's
They forgot that she's a lawyer.
Spider-Man,
Like,
but
they
yeah.
forgot.
Although to be fair, it does make
No,
sense.
they forgot
based
that
on
she's a lawyer.
Based
Oh,
on
they
the end of
completely
Far
forgot.
From Home, that Peter would want a lawyer. That does make
Yeah.
sense.
Yes, but
This
I
is-
think,
yeah.
but I think because she is
But
superhero related,
She-Hulk can be his lawyer.
I think She-Hulk will be his. I think that's where we're the first place we're going to see. her.
I was going to say, I think we're going to see both of them in the show.
Yeah.
Or in the movie, I mean, and I think
Yeah.
it'll be very
might.
quick.
Yeah,
And
we
I
might.
think you're right, though, because I think people are. Spider-Man is playing such an integral part of what's happening, which is very interesting to me because this means also people are real worried about the Sony Marvel deal. No, not at this point. It's such an integral part of what's happening in these next two phases that they're not going to mess this up.
Ooh, I would love that.
I would
Vince
too.
is unreal for sure.
So those were some of the big ones. I want to get into just run through it real quick, and then we'll talk about the ones where we got like lots of footage and we actually got an idea. Blade officially happening, which is excellent
Awesome.
news. We already
Love
knew.
it, love
Mahershala
the
Ali.
casting.
Great casting.
Mhm.
Great
Cannot wait
casting.
to see who they hired to direct it.
Yep.
I had a pie in the sky hope that I never thought would happen, but based on what his new project is, it could happen, and that's Barry Jenkins.
Yes.
Whoa,
Um,
Jesus.
I was like, that man's never going to do this sort of big budget movie. And then he was like, hey, I'm doing Lion King too, so
Yeah.
who knows?
But an
um,
action Marvel movie. I mean,
we-
it's in the
I
fucking
also
people.
think Steve McQueen could make an awesome Blade movie,
I was going to say,
and
I
think
don't,
that'd be a cool choice. too.
I don't think anyone who makes movies doesn't want to work on something
Yeah.
like Blade.
Yeah,
I think
you know.
I think yes, I know he's so locked in on his smaller budget, but I
Yeah,
think
but-
deep down inside of him, he's a little kid and would love to
I
get his
mean,
hands on
you know,
Blade.
you look at Paul Thomas Anderson, for example, who makes
Yeah.
some of the great art films of our time, and he nerds out about Star Wars like we do.
Yeah,
These people love
Like-
this shit.
I know that I'm pretty positive. Maybe not Blade, but I'm sure that there's a character that he'd be like, yes, give me.
Yeah. Yeah.
We also got, which was great, the Hawkeye show we knew was filming, but they officially announced Haley Steinfeld, which had been rumored forever.
you know,
We saw the pictures.
The set
Yeah.
photos officially announced it, but words help too.
Words help too.
I think she's going to be so fucking awesome as Kate Bishop. I love the casting so much. And I
Yes.
think she's going to be integral to what I expect them to do in a couple years, which is a new Avengers movie.
She will be the leader of the new Avengers, Max.
The only thing that makes me sad about this, and I will say, is that means that's pretty much there's a kibosh. There's no more Bumblebee sequels, is because that is
We
the
already-
one movie,
We
but that's
already-
the one movie that deserved a sequel because it was actually a good
Yeah.
story.
We also got official confirmation that Christian Bale would play the villain in
It's
Thor.
interesting you said this, Mike, because when I watched the first Purge, I thought the lead would be an amazing Blade. And
I
then
said the same
they
thing.
went a different way, but I can't remember his name. I'm sorry.
But we got official confirmation Christian Bale's playing the villain in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Gore
I
the
fucking-
God.
I never thought he would
Yeah.
return to a comic book
Gore
movie,
the
but
God Killer.
Yeah,
that
the God
goes
Killer.
to show
I-
how anyone wants to work with Taika.
Yes.
Does anybody
Yep.
think that this might just be a voice role though?
No,
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 100%.
Not for Christian Bale. He wants to be seen.
yeah.
Well, that means
I
they're
mean,
going to
he's
have to
also,
humanize the
like-
character.
And
The
Robert,
character's full on
I wanna
alien.
see
That's
him.
why I ask.
I think it'll be a little of both. I
Okay.
mean, That would be my gut feeling. Speaking of like that space side of everything, as we know, because it's going to be the space side of things. Guardians of the Galaxy, as we knew, was getting a third film. What we did not know is they were also going to get a holiday special that was going to shoot at this same exact time, written and directed by James Gunn for Disney Plus, as well as.
Hey, remember when Disney fired James Gunn and now they're like, yeah, make a holiday special for our streaming service that has 85 million subscribers.
Yes.
For kids.
For kids.
Children. For the kids.
And then the big magnum opus mic drop, if you will, in all of this, before we move into the trailers, is we knew Fantastic Four was going to have to happen. What we didn't know is that Fantastic Four was far enough along that John Watts was actually going to be directing it off of Spider-Man.
That is awesome.
I think it's perfect.
Awesome.
I think that another movie that didn't really get a lot of information that was announced is, I think it's the reason it was announced right before Fantastic Four.
Ant-Man 3?
Oh, yeah.
I think
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I do believe that will be the origin of the Fantastic Four.
I agree.
Think Victor Von Doom is going to be trying to replicate Hank Pym's experiments, and the Fantastic Four get stuck in the quantum realm.
I also think that they may be in Spider-Man 3. Or a nod to them in some capacity.
Or like Reed Richards will be there, or
maybe one of them is.
Because John Watts is directing. And that's the interesting thing. Because the other thing to note is John Watts will be the first person within the MCU to direct 4 films. The only other people who have directed 4 films to this point are the Russo brothers, which tells you that Marvel is very high on what Watts does. He's very good at playing within the sandbox, but also delivering what they're hoping for.
Also, we have to keep in mind this would be the first MCU film that Watts would be working on that's just strictly Marvel.
Yes,
Spider-Man is all Sony and Marvel. Yeah. This would be strictly Marvel.
I know everyone says this, but I still really want John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
Yeah. So the Ant-Man movie, the other thing they confirmed was Kang the Conqueror. Which I believe they quickly blew past it, but I believe Kang is going to be set up to be the next Thanos.
And
easily.
Also, they recasted Cassie Lang, which is big.
I noticed that.
Yeah, well, they recasted. They recasted Cassie Lang. They got what's her name? Catherine.
Yeah, they got Catherine
Newton. Yeah, from Freaky. So they put someone of more of a name in there, guaranteed that they're going to make her into Stature later.
Yes. The only pushback I would say against John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic was I saw a mock-up. Somebody did a Photoshop of Raul Coley as Mr. Fantastic, and I was like, ooh.
But he's going to be too busy playing Ezra Bridger. So
he'll be playing Ezra.
And I'll also say one of the things that, to the point that was just made, that Kang is potentially being set up as the big bad, obviously, moving forward. We got a trailer for Loki. And Loki hinted pretty heavily that Kang is also in that. If anyone caught towards the end of the trailer, it is very obvious that Kang is also in this. So let's talk about this Loki trailer real quick, guys, because
it's so interesting.
Holy fuck, this thing looks bonkers. I want to start with Dwayne. Oh, sorry. Sean, go ahead, start then, because you talked over us.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
Go, Sean.
All I want to say is this might be the one thing that I was most excited for, like that I never expected. And it's fucking beautiful.
It looks bug nuts. All right, now go to Dwayne.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I'm curious, are we going to see Thor and Heimdall in this?
I kind of think that they have to
hinted at that.
Did we see? Am I crazy, or did we see Cap in the trailer?
I'd have to go back. I didn't see.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you? See
there was someone I thought who had a beard and looked kind of like Cap in the shadow, and I wasn't positive.
Yeah, there was a lot of quick moments, but I'm really curious that when he gets sucked in the Bifrost, are we going to see Thor and Heimdall, or at least Heimdall?
I think so.
Which I'm so excited
Heimdall
to see.
Is certainly very, very likely.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Robert, you got a look on your face.
Heimdall's like one of my favorite characters.
I'm trying to figure out the timeline of it though, because
remember.
It doesn't matter.
Some of it it did its own branch thing, like what's her face said in Infinity War. Take out the stone, you have your own Back to the Future 3, or Back to the Future 2.
Which is why I think he said Thor and Heimdall. You better be ready for, because I think this is it'll be a different timeline.
I think he'll kill him.
So here's also the
I
thing.
think there's no rules. So you think he'll be able to do whatever.
Yeah.
There's no
So-
implications.
How familiar are you guys with the comics? I'm going to try to do this in like 30 seconds.
A little bit.
Not very.
Okay. So the TVA,
Pretty
does
well.
anyone know what it is?
Yes.
Yeah,
Time.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Time. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
the Time Variance Authority.
Yes.
They basically police the multiverse.
Yes. That's why Owen Wilson
time
said
doesn't
time
pass the same way.
Yep,
Where they're
100%.
I
Also,
also
they are
think,
very aware that Loki is in the wrong timeline.
yeah,
And I love that Owen Wilson as a part of
yeah.
that.
Owen
He's
Wilson
so
is
perfect.
so perfect and funny, and I definitely think he's probably gonna be in Doctor Strange and Spider-Man 3.
I agree. I think
I
people
don't
are really
think I don't think you hire Owen Wilson and not use him a lot.
Well,
think
there were
I think
rumors
he-
recently about there being a second season of the show, and so maybe it's just directly the show.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe he might also be possibly our new Coulson.
Yeah,
That's very true.
I can definitely see that.
and I think I loved
I
his
loved his
banter.
look.
He looked,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's so good.
I
I
was
didn't know
I was
did we know he was in the show beforehand?
I remember
Yeah.
there was rumors, but I couldn't remember.
I didn't remember, and I started watching the trailer, and I was like, "Wow,
Wow.
wow!"
I will say I was this was
Oh my God, Sean Wingblade and I made the literal same.
before today. I'll be honest. This show was on the bottom of my Disney Plus MCU shows. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't looking forward to that much. The second that footage dropped, it shot right up the charts. Like I was instantly hooked.
I'm sorry, have you not looked at Tom Hiddleston before?
I understand that.
Look,
But
I'm not gonna.
It doesn't
I'm not
need
gonna
his
lie.
head squished in the thighs.
Getting to see him on the plane in the suit with the
Yes.
shorter hair.
Amazing.
Yes, dude,
Well,
and
and
that
he's going
sequence is
back-
badass. by the
And
way.
he sort of like he almost like looks at the camera.
Could we James Bond?
That's what I thought too. 100%. I'm Dwayne and I metal locked on that because yes,
I
was
never
like-
would have thought that, and I was like,
yeah,
damn.
I was like, I never thought about it either. But seeing him in that suit, he looked good.
he did.
The other- obviously, we got a second trailer for WandaVision, which we kind of talked about a little bit.
That show is gonna be so fucking wild, man.
I love when they
yeah.
push the beds together. That was so funny.
Yeah, I thought this looked fun. I think Dwayne was right. I think it had a little more than I was expecting, but that also makes me hope that means they're hiding more, if that makes sense.
I mean, I hope so. I just know that there is a point. There's a part of the VO that I think gives away what's actually going on, and was
I
a little
agree.
bit too much for the trailer.
I'm kind of curious what that part was. I might have missed it.
There's
Bedore,
there's a-
yes, 100%.
there's a part of the VO
In
where
HBO Max.
someone is talking to Wanda,
Yes.
and they said,
Yes.
"Who has you here? What are
Yep.
they doing to you?"
Yeah,
Right, I heard that.
I don't think Wanda is going crazy. I think someone is messing with her.
Right.
Yeah.
I caught that.
And I think when she breaks reality, it's going to be her breaking out of whatever prison, like mental
Oh,
prison. she's
Gotcha.
in.
Interesting.
Okay.
And it's going to be, in my opinion, I think Dwayne and I are kind of on the same page. It's almost like a reverse House of M, if you will.
And that's
Right.
yes, and that's also what I think the ending was alluding to when she's with Vision and they're trying
Yes.
to protect their home.
Yes.
Is I think that there's something they're trapped somewhere, or she's trapped somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd
And
also like.
I have a
Right.
feeling that's probably connected to, I'm not going to say who it is, like who the actor is playing, but I think it might be connected to Agatha Harkness.
Interesting. Okay.
So
Lots to
I'd like to share this image that Sean Wingblade in the chat tagged some of us in.
Oh my god. Okay. So we go from there. One other trailer that was I was not expecting a trailer for this, and I was hyped to find out we were getting Falcon and Winter Soldier in March, and the trailer for this one equally was
Fucking
as cool.
Psyched.
And I
Yeah.
was excited. I want to go to you, Dwayne, because you seem like
Yeah.
you got something to say.
I think it is very telling that Black Widow was pushed until after this.
Yep.
When it was originally supposed to come out before this.
Me too.
I also think that it is very telling that things have been in production for the past 6 to 8 months, and yet this has only ended production maybe 2 months ago when they started filming 3 weeks after Mandalorian season 2.
Yep.
I think things in this series were changed
Me too.
in order to move Black Widow so that Black Widow would not affect what happened in this series.
Because originally it was, from what I understood, is that they had it toyed with pushing Black Widow onto Disney Plus at one point for this very reason. Because at one point, Black Widow directly affected Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And I think it also tells us how little Black Widow actually matters to what is happening in the universe, that they are able to push it.
Other than that, I think we'll see Florence Pugh in a lot more movies.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that of course, but also we know that Florence Pugh is going to be in Hawkeye, so that kind of also lessens the impact of knowing that she makes it out of the movie.
Yeah, this is a good point. They didn't really talk about or show anything from Eternals.
Yeah, they brought it up, showed the cast, and that was pretty much it.
I don't know how much they really have for Eternals.
Well, they pushed it to November, so I wouldn't expect them to show any footage right now at all.
I mean, they're wrapped, but they probably didn't want to show it yet.
If anyone knows the Eternals, I think we can kind of guess who are going to be the Eternals and who are going to be the Deviants. All the pretty people are going to be the Eternals because that's literally what they are. They're perfect human beings. So I that also explains why that cast is so goddamn fucking gorgeous.
Oh my god.
Absolutely. And then do you have something to say?
Of note, Black Widow does show up in the Loki trailer.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
I didn't even
but
notice that.
It's Age of Ultron Black Widow.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back to
short hair.
I thought it was, but I thought the shot was of her on
Hi, David. You're in the right place.
Planet.
I don't know. Oh yes, where they got the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
Yes. So it could have been from Infinity War or Endgame, but it's definitely like a callback shot from some movie, which I do think we'll see Loki pop up in other films.
I do too. I mean, because it's a play off of Endgame, and understandably.
Yes. But the Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff, bonkers. That last scene with Falcon flying through the canyon, fucking awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And the banter was still on point, which I liked. They were still playing up that relationship.
I hate you.
Yeah.
And the callback to the original Avengers where he's like, do we have a plan? And he just goes out the plane. Fucking amazing.
Plan attack.
Is
I like Zemo in the coat that kind of looked reminiscent of his costume in the comics.
Yeah, that was dope.
I love that.
I'm a little, I don't know if worried is the right word, but
gripe.
Sam not using the shield.
I noticed that too.
He doesn't feel worthy to use it yet.
Save it for the show.
I think Robert might be right. Is in the beginning of the show he's gonna feel not worthy, and it's by the end of the show he'll use it. But it just
you know what it is?
Cap gave him the shield. Cap gave him the shield.
You're right, but I feel like they're trying to make it his version of the Cap lifting up the hammer moment in Endgame. Where it'll be like he finally realizes, no, Cap gave it to me. I'm worthy enough to wield this. And so we're going to have a moment in the show where he goes bug nuts with it, which would be...
They didn't show like too much of any of U.S. Agent. Like they showed him briefly,
they didn't show him. They didn't show Sharon Carter.
Sean.
Yeah.
They addressed the shield in the trailer at the beginning. He says there's a lot more history to the shield, and I think the implication of that line is
I understand the implication. I just still am worried that it's a big moment that we got a black Captain America.
Right. Yeah. And I think
I think they're playing into that. I think what they're doing is literally the notion that you're happening right now is what they're trying to feed into. And I think it becomes a big thing 3/4 of the way through the season.
Yeah. I mean,
did we just lose Jake?
Yeah.
We did. Yeah, what if US Agent takes the shield?
All right. Well,
what it looks like is the government's trying to find replacements for Cap, and they're hiring U.S. Agent, and U.S. Agent may not be a good, suitable government replacement, is what it looks like. They look like they're going the route of what's his face on The Boys, the
Homelander.
Jensen
Homelander.
Oh, all right. You're talking about the one that actually is like Captain America.
Yes. So we got 4.5 minutes.
But next.
We can talk all day about all this.
We got 4 minutes.
The What If cartoon looks fantastic.
What If is actually my most anticipated thing.
That's why I wanted to save it for last because this trailer was awesome. To see to hear Chadwick again, by the way, I started to tear up. Yes, and to hear Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher made me.
Oh,
lose my
sorry,
mind.
Jake.
Jake, come back because we got I love this trailer. I thought that the footage was great. The Marvel Zombie look was awesome. To see Peggy as Cap was amazing. Like hearing Rooker again as Yondu was fun. The idea of T'Challa being picked up instead of Star-Lord is just interesting to me.
Peggy,
that's the other thing I
Man.
wanted to touch on, and we have like no time, but I thought it was fascinating that they very clearly used language saying they will not be recasting T'Challa.
Yes.
But they did not say there won't be another Black Panther.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is a great choice. I think there's a couple of options as to who could take on the mantle, and I'm excited to see what they choose and do.
I have a very bug nuts theory, and I've been saying that word a lot. And I think it'll have to do with the multiverse and finding a version of Michael B. Jordan that is good.
I think that's very possible. I could also see it being M'Baku.
I could see that too. And I think
I thought it might be Shuri for a while, but not after those tweets.
Yeah, it is very possible that it's M'Baku because there is a run of the comics where M'Baku takes the heart shape and
talking about thighs, fuck me, man. Woo, boy.
We can get crazy.
It's very possible that it's M'Baku.
Winston Duke is awesome. I think he has an immense amount of charisma and physicality and would be a great choice.
Yes.
He's my
but
favorite.
I don't hate the idea of an alternate universe Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot to say, but we've got 2 minutes until Mando time, so I think it's time for us to get out of here.
Okay, anyone real quick, any plugs? Let's go.
Yes. You guys know where to find me. But yeah, I want Robert to be able to plug their stuff.
Yep, please.
So yes, I'm a part of the Cinefanatics. Jake is a part of A Certain Point of View. Both of our channels will be merging along with Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmodown and Call to Action tomorrow night. It's on the Smashathon channel. We're doing an after show, pre-show extravaganza, kind of reminiscent of all the reactors coming together at Nerd Chronic's house last year before the spectacular. We can't do that this year, unfortunately, so we're doing it virtually. We're all coming together on the one channel just to talk about the Schmodown Spectacular, which is this weekend. Make sure you get your tickets for that or hop on the $10 Patreon. I hear the $10 Patreon is the way to go going into this next season from what I've been told. But yes, anyways, you can find me and my brother who pops in every time I'm on like this. Cinefanatics YouTube channel, Cinefanatics MLP on Twitter and Instagram. That's it.
Only thing I want to mention is that because the spectacular will be doing. Oh, go ahead, Robert.
I was also since Jake fell out. I know Jake and A Certain Point of View. They're also doing a thing talking about Mandalorian over on Star Wars Explain. Oh, you got that too.
So
okay.
myself and the crew from POV will be over on Alex Damon and Molly Damon's channel tomorrow. Star Wars Explained, talking about Mandalorian. 6 p.m. Pacific. Go hang out with us. It'll be fun. I'm very excited.
And I just want to mention, because it's spectacular, we'll be doing our PJCN Mando water cooler chat Sunday afternoon instead of Saturday. That's it.
All right, guys.
Dwayne?
Let's get out of here.
You can find me everywhere at BurkeMade, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, YouTube, Twitch. And tomorrow morning, you can find me on SEN Live. Time to be determined, because I don't know how long Christian is going to go with his Mandalorian after show. There is a very possible, very big guest. He'll probably talk.
A lot.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Does it rhyme with Kevin Smith?
All right,
let's get
watch
out of here.
SEN tomorrow. Watch everything. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. The viewership has been crazy. Have a good night. Let's all go watch Mando.
Bye.
seismic charges. Stand by.